One.
Good morning, America. Look at my cute outfit. Hey, Caroline, you're such a cutie. Okay, hello, everybody. Today we're talking about neurodivergence in love. It's hard to not be neurotypical and to be in a relationship and feel like you're being holding yourself to this, and they are holding you to a standard that you literally cannot meet. It's so hard for everybody involved. It's confusing. It's hard not to take personally on both sides of that. And we're really excited. I'm really excited to talk about this today. I, you know what I should do, Addie? I should tell them about how I discovered that I'm really okay, yep, okay. So I'm really resistant to diagnoses because I have seen them so frequently become excuses instead of explanations. So instead of, oh, that makes sense, that's how I work, I should work with that and still be a really loving person. I have seen people be like, well, I got ADHD, so I'll never be able to do that. Why even try? Well, I've got autism, so whatever, why even try? Well, and use it as an excuse to allow themselves to be kind of selfish and mean, like to be unkind. And that's not great. And I was really nervous I would do that. So I was really ardently trying not to get any kind of diagnosis. And as many people online have accused me of having ADHD and and being on cocaine, both, when I was still in denial, and I was in my master's program learning diagnoses and going through DSM-5, DSM DSM-4TR now. Anyway, I was reading the ADHD list off because how you do diagnoses when you're basing it off the DSM is a certain number of criteria, like 5 out of 7 in this category, and 6 out of 7 in this category, and 2 out of 4 in this category, that kind of thing. So I'm reading all of those off to my at dinner with my parents and my husband for ADHD, and I'm laughing the whole time because it's so my husband, and I'm like howling with laughter. I'm like, isn't that crazy? It's so on point, and they are laughing one of the top 3 hardest laughs I've ever heard. And I finish reading off all those criteria and I go, isn't that funny? All of them, right? And they went, yeah. And I was like, I know, it's so Dan. And silence. Everyone completely stopped talking and looked at me like horrified because they thought we were all in on the joke that it was obviously me. And all my whole family went, what? And my mom reaches across the table and she touches my hand. She goes, "Honey, no, that's you." It's like, God damn it. All right, fine. All right, fine. Um, and there is like some relief in knowing that. And also like, okay, I don't want to make that an excuse. But it happens, and there are moments where in my relationship, being a mom and being with a partner, being a wife, there are moments that I scare myself because of the level that I can hyperfixate on something and I can't remember my priorities. And it scares me as a parent. And I have talked to Dan about this, and there have been moments where I was in an idea. And I mean, I'm obsessed with my son. I love my husband. I'm so in love with them. But I'll be noodling on this concept or this idea. And it happened last week and I just broke down because I was thinking about something. I know I had my son when I started thinking about it. I somehow was in a chair and my son was not in my sight. And I'm sitting in this chair making notes about this thought. And my husband was in the bathroom and he comes back out. And our son is just in the dining room as a 1 year old. And I don't remember putting him down. And my husband came to me in the chair and was like, Morgan, our son's in the dining room. And I was like, oh my God, I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember putting him down. I don't remember doing that. That scares me so much. It makes me feel like I'm broken or dangerous and need a watcher because what? The thing that's the most important to me in the world, I can forget about. So there's a huge part of me that like loves being a mom and wants my kid and future kids to stay young forever. And there's a much bigger part of me that's like I can't wait till they're old enough that I can't hurt them accidentally because I'm thinking about a freaking idea of how do you phrase that? Why is that a thing that she's caught up in? Why is that? So there's this fear that I relate to so much when I have neurodivergent clients that they're just broken and maybe they're not cut out for this because this personality, this thing that you can't control with how your brain works hurts people that you love and it doesn't feel like you're choosing it. And if you don't control, like I'm in a phase of my life right now where there's not a lot of time, we're constantly spread thin. This was the turning point moment that I talked to my team and I was like, oh, I need I need more space and rest. Like my life is insane. From 5:30 a.m. until 9 p.m. it's stuff. And that makes it harder for me to rein in the things that my brain does when tired. And that makes the ADHD part of me more dangerous. That's not safe. And I didn't realize it wasn't safe until that moment. And so now we're like checking that. But that it's not like in that moment I could have chosen to be better. I couldn't have. It's I have to make choices about how I structure my life so that those moments happen less often. And my husband has to deal with I'm going to promise to do things, really mean it, and completely forget. And we used to handle that by him feeling mad, me feeling mad, then I'm in a shame spiral, he feels neglected. And now we handle it as I'm his nutty professor. he, there's an old show called Absent Minded Professor that my husband says makes him think of me all the time. And there are a lot of moments that he's like, that was an absent-minded professor moment. And the work of relationships is accepting ourselves and accepting each other instead of changing ourselves or changing each other. And that's where real growth comes from, is that acceptance. And it's so hard when it's a part of you that you've spent your entire life fighting and you spent your entire life being ashamed of and feeling you spent your entire life thinking this part of me ruins everything. It hurts my relationships. It hurts the people I love. It hurts my goals. It hurts everything. Why would I radically accept this part of me? I don't like it. It needs to be reined in, not accepted. And yet the only thing that works is accepting it and working with it. It's really scary. So that is my perspective on neurodivergence and love, and the lens that I'm coming from is somebody who loves people so much and loves my relationships so much and also understands the feeling of maybe my neurodivergence it makes me incapable of this and maybe I'm not a safe person to be with because of something that my brain does. So with that intro, I would love to answer other people's questions and mostly hear your stories. And let's all be a little less alone in our divergence and atypicality. So, okay, questions and answers. If you've never been to on this show before or you've never been here before, how this works is we are in a Zoom room and the only video that gets streamed is my video because we talk about vulnerable stuff. We want you to feel really safe here. And I call you whatever you call yourself on Zoom. So if you don't want your name to be known because of the subject you're talking about or something, you just change your name and I will call you the name that you tell me that you are here and your face will not be shown to the YouTube replay community. It'll just be shown to me and the people in this Zoom room. YouTube, Twitch, where else are we? YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok is where we're
TikTok.
streaming.
hmm
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Our first question is from Michelle. And Michelle asks, Michelle submitted a question and said, my question is, how can you get your ADHD partner to connect long enough to play the mirror game or utilize the scene method? I lose my husband after a while and want to make sure both of us feel understood.
Are you in the repair lab or did you do the 8-week class? How do you know this stuff?
I'm a stalker.
You just know it all. Wow, that's cool.
I told my therapist yesterday that I am one of those people that will drink from a fire hydrant if I think that it will be helpful. So
Ah, I love that. Me too.
I just made a we just moved from one state to another, and so on the many hours that I was in the car by myself, I was absorbing as much of you as I possibly could.
Wow. Must be weird to have me talking to you then. That's got to be trippy for your brain.
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah. Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Wow, that's so cool. Um,
Yeah.
wow. Yes. Okay. So your question is, how do I get my husband to pay attention and reflectively listen because he's
Yes,
distracted?
I feel like we both have been diagnosed with ADHD, so it's a fun house to be in.
I wondered when you said fire hose, I was like, hyperfixate? Hyperfixation much? Okay.
but and he is probably better at what I call sorry, I'm turning off my heater by my desk because it's very
Oh,
hot.
you're fine. I'm gonna take my this off.
Okay, good.
The
He's
sleeves are a
very
little bit too much.
I feel like he's very good at what I call therapy speech. Like he's very good at reflecting back that makes sense and some of those things, but it doesn't take long before his eyes glass over or his phone takes over or a
Yeah.
bird on the window, like something happens and then I lose him. And
Yeah.
so I have a tendency, I'm working more on being reflective back to him and trying the mirror game. But I feel like that a lot of times both of us walk away and not feel we don't feel understood by the other person. And
Yeah.
I think it's just our brains just don't stay connected long enough to be able to finish.
Well, I'd love to see because I'm going to give you two different versions. One I call eye talking, and by eye call, my mentee Billy thought of that name. I used to call it eye gazing, but with the mirror game, which is a very long way to explain it. And he was like, "You so eye talking," and I went, "That's freaking brilliant." So I call it eye talking. I would start the mirror game with no words, just eye contact. The only rule is that you can't look at anything else. And for 60 seconds, you express how you're feeling or how that thing made you feel with just your eyeballs. One of you is speaking and the other one is listening. So you are looking into his eyeballs, being like, this is how it felt for 60 to 90 seconds, depending on what you need. And then ask him, what did you see? And then you reflect from there. It shortens the mirror game. What you just explained about how you both show up and you both try and you both know the therapy speak and you both all of that made me think this will work really well for you because you have the desire, you've done the work. This cuts through all the stuff that gets boring for us when it's up here where you're like, I don't even know. I'm not connected to this at all. That truly try it. It's the most radical connective, a little bit terrifying because you're being so seen thing.
Okay.
So start instead of with, hey, I'm feeling this, you start with, okay, can we do eye talking for 60 seconds? I'm going to tell you how I feel with just my eyes, and I want to see what you see. And it's not a test, it's a puzzle. It's incredible. And then switch roles. And when it's his turn to speak, before he speaks, be like, can I just see? Like, tell me what you're feeling right now and look at his eyes, 60 seconds.
Okay.
And that will probably help. If you have some kind of like your eye contact is really, really scary and hard, which I don't think is probably true for you guys, but if you have autism, sometimes that's true. One of the cool practices to do is sitting back to back so you can feel breathing. Even if you don't have that, that's not for the maybe not for the mirror game, but just in general, it's really cool. You sit back to back and you can feel breathing, and for 60 seconds, you just sit there together, and then you turn around, you're
Mhm.
like, I think you're feeling this, and you know you're gonna get it really wrong. You both know you're supposed to get it really wrong. That's a really cool way to start too.
Okay.
So I liked your question a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna try eye talking?
I am
Okay, good.
today.
Yes,
Some,
girl. Yes. Will you message us after and tell us how it goes?
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yay.
All right. Thank you. I love you, Morgan.
I love you. It's so good to meet you, Michelle.
You too.
That's so fun. I wish I had
Well,
started like this because this can be the thumbnail outfit.
yeah, I'll make that a thumbnail. You look so cute. All right. We don't
This
have
is
it. We're
good.
still waiting. Yeah. To get some
Neurodivergent.
questions from people. That is insane. Do it again.
That's my neurodivergent. Maybe I should do an I love you. Okay.
Done.
I think I'm gonna regret that.
Well, I'll see if it's a good choice then.
Okay, great.
I won't just do it without thinking through it.
Okay, thanks.
But okay, we're waiting on some people to say if they're willing to speak out loud.
Okay.
Before we do that, I know somebody who is busy but submitted a question, and her question was, this is from Allison. Her question is, how do I help my boyfriend who has lots of unfinished projects? He's undiagnosed ADHD. I really want to help him get on track and organize time and tasks. I've been pushing him to finish, but the mess is flaring my anxiety.
Okay, different question, I would say, because you can't help the most you can do is help someone help themselves, but you can't help them straight out. Like the healthy relationships are far more about helping somebody care for themselves than they are about caring for the other person, because there's really a limit there. So it sounds like what actually the question is in there is, how do I navigate my anxiety about the unfinished projects and about the way he handles things? Because the most you can do for him and what he's doing is say, I'm feeling really anxious in this room because there are so many unfinished projects, and that makes me feel weird. So I'm going to not be in this room. I'm going to try to clean up. I'm going to like that. It's figuring out how you handle that anxiety. And when you have the conversation about it, it's not, you need to finish projects and I'll help you and let me guide you and let me whatever. It's actually, okay, we know each other well enough now that if I'm accepting you as you are, that means there are going to be a lot of unfinished projects. And if you're accepting me as I am, that means I'm going to feel anxious about every room being full of unfinished projects. So how do we navigate that? What's a way that we can, there's a space for the projects, or there's a space for no projects, or if the conversation comes from a place of, I want to accept you and me at the same time. You are not wrong for being anxious because of his unfinished projects. He is not wrong for having unfinished projects. How do we accept how we both are and work with that together? My friend Monica Tanner, who wrote the book Bad Marriage Advice, one favorite thing that she says is, do not compromise, collaborate. Compromising will lead to resentment from both people. Collaborating builds connection, and you feel like, oh, you're embracing who I am and working with it instead of telling me I should be different. So he isn't telling you need to stop being anxious, and you're not telling him you need to stop having ADHD or you need to stop having unfinished projects. Instead, you're going, okay, if that's how you work and this is how I work, how do we work together in a way that we're accepting each other and embracing each other? Like like my husband is a treasure hunter. It's what we call it. And yes, other people might say junk collector. We say treasure hunter because he loves that man. If he goes into a store, we have lost 3 hours. Like, we go to Walmart to get flour. No, we didn't. We went to Walmart to get Christmas themed jumpsuits by the time we leave, as well as flour and ingredients for a recipe that he's going to make up. And that man like goes wild in a store. And when we first started dating, that frustrated me, or his like wanting to find treasures in Facebook Marketplace. And then I went, hold on. What if I go off the assumption that I can't change him, because of course I can't, and instead looked for the magic in that and recognized where it made me feel bad. And then I put boundaries around the places that it makes me feel bad. Now I freaking love it. It's so fun. He's such a treasure hunter. I can't wait to see what he gets from Walmart when he goes for just one thing. I can't wait to see what he's going to tell me about on Facebook Marketplace when he spins it through all of the things that he's going to find and be a treasure hunter. It's the shifting the mentality to, embracing who they are because you don't have to sacrifice yourself in the process. Like, I'm not sacrificing something about myself. I don't like clutter. So when there's a room that's full of clutter because of all the treasure or it starts to get cluttered, I just say, oh, I get really anxious about the clutter. So, or about having too many objects. So I would love to find a way to get them all in the garage or get them all somewhere else. What do you think we should do? And we do what Ryan now calls a dick talk. Thank you, Ryan, for calling it that. I Emma figured out the acronym, but dream, invitation, collaboration. So basically, when you are choosing a way to move forward and collaborate with somebody, you say the dream, your ultimate intention, the dream, D. Okay, I want to feel really safe in this space, and I want you to feel safe in this space too. But with a lot of treasure in here, I don't feel that safe, and I feel really anxious, and I don't want you to feel restrained. So, are you interested, invitation, in that dream? Do you want to figure out a way to have for us both to feel really safe in this space too? And if he says yes, then C, collaborate. How do you think we'd get there? I was thinking maybe we put all the treasures in the garage. What do you think? How do you think we get there? DIC, what's the dream? Invite them to join you on that dream. Then you collaborate together on how to get there. DIC, TikTok. Hard to forget. We love an acronym that's hard to forget. I'm probably going to do this multiple times, but I'm really bothered by the way my bangs are falling today. Is that better? No. No. Damn it. So I'm just going to have to accept it and not look at myself. Okay. Next.
All right, our next question is from Adam. All right. Adam asked, my brain relaxes in bed and I find I'm looking for conversation and connection when my partner is ready to fall asleep. How do I honor my timing and her needs being different than mine?
Nighttime zoomies. You get nighttime zoomies?
Nighttime zoomies. Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
You're like, oh, hey, how was your day?
My brain literally goes on like overdrive once I like lay down in bed. Like it's just like
Mm.
everything is spinning. And that happens because I have three girls. And two of them do our homeschooling slash online school. And so my day is consumed by them, like no
Yeah.
matter what. And so I I have no time, or I feel like I have no time to like get in some of these like serious questions for my
Mm.
partner. Now, to give a little bit of a backstory, I've kind of posted this in the chat over the last couple weeks during the live events, but um, last year was kind of a hard year for me and my partner
Mm.
because 3 years ago there was an event that happened in which I was the cause of a lot of distrust and tension within the relationship.
Okay.
And when that happened, I was like, I think I need to seek out counseling therapy. And so I reached out to, at the time, we were kind of involved in the church. And so I reached out to a pastor friend of ours. And then I was like, well, I don't want to just reach out to a pastor friend. I want somebody who is more, uh, there's probably a better word for this, alternative. So I'm going to reach out to two people and I will seek counseling from both areas. Uh, the religious aspect didn't end up working. However, the alternative aspect did. Um,
Mm.
and it's been fantastic. I've been with this therapist for over 3 years, and we have a great working relationship. I'm trying to think where I'm at.
You were asking about nighttime wanting to have conversations because it's your only
Yes,
opportunity. And you
yes,
are acknowledging that you have a history of mistrust that you're healing from 3 years ago. And then then you
correct.
started in therapy with a therapist you really like,
Yep.
um, who's been helpful, and that's where we are now.
So I feel like before I realized, which is most recently, I feel like I have become over the last year or so, I feel like I've become the anxious attachment partner.
Okay.
Before that, I think I was an avoidant attachment partner,
Okay, fun.
right?
Yeah, I get it. I've been both too. Yeah, keep going.
Um, and so now I'm in the aspect of wanting to rebuild the relationship. I know that I effed up. Um, and I know that that person is not me.
Mm.
Um, and I know that person is not me because everything throughout my life has shown that it is not me.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I want to fix things, and it was really hard uh, because my partner, I feel like I don't know if my partner was ever the opposite of me in terms of uh, anxious slash avoidant.
Mm.
Um, I think having children uh, was a big factor in our mental health,
Mm.
and also moving abroad. We live in Prague. We lived in Dallas for 10 years, um, and so there's some like seclusion issues that we've both been dealing with. But
Okay.
um, so at night, it's just like my brain goes crazy trying to like I'm constantly wanting to fix things. But
Hmm.
I'm also aware that I have to listen. So like I said, I've been in therapy for three
So
years now.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
things you're wanting to say at night
Hmm.
the things you're wanting to say at night are things about how to fix the relationship. This is deep relationship talk that you're wanting to talk about.
Yeah,
And it's the only window in the day that you guys can talk about that.
it's the only window in the day that I feel that there's a silence where my mind can operate and have a conversation because it's almost
Hmm.
any noise disrupts my thinking pattern.
Yes. Yeah. Um, so is there a sleep requirement? Like, why is it laying down in bed versus sitting on a couch together and then going to bed? Like, why is there not a step before bed to
Right.
connect?
So I
What's
think that this is an important aspect, right? Because uh, we are parents of structure. And so our girls typically go to bed they're usually in bed 8:30 at the latest. Sometimes
mm,
it extends into 9 o'clock, but very rarely. And so oftentimes uh, the 8 o'clock to 11 or 12 o'clock hour are spent in a decompression state, I feel. So whether that's, and lately I've grown a hatred towards scrolling on our phones.
yes.
Um, but it typically involves like a show that we both enjoy. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
and so that's our kind of like decompression time.
You have 8:30 to 11 o'clock to decompress, which is both staring at the same thing at the same time, but not looking at each other. Like you're not sitting at each other, looking at each other across the couch. You're
Correct.
like, maybe.
That is correct. However, m- uh, because my brain is, once the kids go to bed, my brain is like on drive. And so I fall into this.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring this up right now because she's engaged in this and I don't want to interrupt her engagement
So
in this.
she's watching a movie or a show or something,
She's
and you
watching a
don't want
movie
to
or
interrupt.
show, or she's scrolling on her phone. I have grown a hatred for my phone.
Yes,
Like
yes. I know. It's such an addiction.
over the last year or so, like I have grown a hatred where like anytime that I can put my phone down, I like am able to breathe. But
Yes. I know. And
she has not reached that yet.
yeah.
And there is a little bit of resentment from that I was going to talk about last week.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, and also, yeah. The phone thing is interesting because you resent the person, you resent somebody for doing something you don't feel allowed to do, but you also resent somebody for doing something that you've recently just stopped doing because it's my theory is that it's a reminder of a version of you you don't like, and you're like, ah, go away. Don't be like that. I don't want to be like that again. That that it's like when you stop smoking, you hate smokers. When you stop drinking, you hate drinkers. There's this phase of like, I will never be like you. And I think that's true with phones too. When we have these wonderful moments where we actually are breaking the addiction with our phone, but our partner is not, it's like ugh. Even though a week ago you were the same way or a month ago, it's like why? Um so there's, stuff there. But if she's on the phone scrolling and you say, "Hey, I'd love to connect with you right now. Are you open to putting your phone down? Are you open to talking?" How would she respond? Uh-oh. Wait, oh, you're muted weirdly. Hold on. I got you. Okay, go. Say it again.
So it I'm going to say it depends
Mm,
because sometimes she puts her phone down immediately and usually it's when I do say something like I have something to say, and usually my phone's already put away, right? Like my phone's
yes,
nowhere in sight, and I'm
yes.
like, I have something to say. She'll put her phone down. Uh, and so
Have
usually there's not a challenge of like getting her attention, except it's usually my own mind that is saying like she's reluctant to do this. Like she doesn't want to listen to what you have to say. It's not important. Um,
yeah. Yeah. That's our problem.
like I'm interrupting.
Yeah.
I've told her multiple times that I understand that the pain and the disconnect that I've caused is going to take time. I understand that. I'm not delusional about how long. I'm not delusional that it's going to take time to repair things that I have caused. I also know that my actions and my behavior isn't I want to say like on an island.
Yeah, yes.
It's
It's
not
not
because of
isolated.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not isolated. Like there's a reason of why my actions happened, and I don't want to like offshoot that and say I'm not accountable because if anything, I want to take full accountability of everything that's happened in our relationship, but I also want accountability to be taken everywhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
I am assuming are my brain is making assumptions about what happened. Are you wanting to deliberately keep that not part of the story?
Um, there were a couple actions that were taken involved around um, oh gosh. One is like crazy deep. Neither of the actions had to do with like cheating or anything like that. Um, both both actions had to do with uh, digital interactions with people.
Okay. Okay. I would so I don't think it's treated like it's different, but um when you're the one that we've decided has done the wrong bad thing, what makes it worse is treating it like it's isolated because it's hard. Then you're going that then it's very easy to make that happen again because if you don't get curious about what what led to this being the choice that I made, that you made,
Mhm.
then you're not then how do you make sure that choice doesn't get made again? Like this happens from so
Right.
many different directions that in so many different lanes where we are getting upset. And when we've decided, and usually it's both people deciding, like it could be something as simple as I never do the dishes, or it could be something as big as you cheated on me. Either way, if we both decide the solution is I just need to be better. I just need to be better. Great. I'm
Mhm.
so sorry. Of course you're upset. I need to be better. I need to be better. I need to be better. It doesn't work because there's more going on there. And I need to be better is a shame statement. It's a statement that I'm inherently broken. What I did is wrong. And all I need to do is choose a different choice next time. And that we don't change from shame. It doesn't make
Mhm.
lasting change. We can change our performance, but not for very long.
I agree.
The only way you change and is actually getting curious about, okay, what was the pain? It's like the Gabor Mate, don't ask why the addiction, ask why the pain. It's that thing. It's like, great. That was the wrong mechanism to choose to heal that. But it was resolving something that was really real and so valid that I chose something I didn't want to. Maybe if I stop avoiding that, if we as a couple, if we as a relationship stop avoiding the pain that I was trying to resolve, we can get curious and be on the same team for that. And when it comes to like a digital connection or a connection outside of the relationship or something like that, it's often linked to a fear like, I'm not worth your time. I don't want to interrupt you. You don't have space for me. It's okay. I'm not that important. And those are the things that actually need healed, not the cheating, not the connection. Like those are the symptoms, not the cause. And it's like whack-a-mole. Maybe we get really good at not doing that, but now we're doing another version and we're doing and so then you got more shame because you keep being like, damn, I keep screwing up. I don't want to and I keep doing it. And then your partner's like, you keep screwing up. We both said you weren't going to, but I can't trust you. Well, we've never healed the root. Of course it's still happening. So you
Yeah.
have to go
This
back to
is
that root.
yeah, this is something that you brought up I think 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
where you were talking about kind of the same thing where it's and again my mind completely shut off. Yeah,
Root.
exactly what you were
Root cause.
saying.
So back to that, I heard in your words that fear that, oh, I'm interrupting, that belief that you're probably not that important and that what you want to say and how you want to connect is probably a burden. Seemed, oh, your
I
face changed. Was I wrong? Did I mishear that?
No, I think in some aspects you're correct. I think what I feel sometimes is that, yeah, I think maybe the burden, I feel like because I'm in fix it mode,
Yeah.
that it's overbearing.
Yeah.
And so uh, and so I don't want to feel like I'm berating her with questions. Um, yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm berating her with questions. And so what I do is I limit myself to usually like one or two questions like a day.
What are the
And
questions you're
sometimes
asking?
uh I think they're questions of like connection, like what and I feel like I'm usually pretty good with like balancing like what is something that makes me feel, or what is something that makes you feel connected to me? What is something that I did that made you feel disconnected from me?
Yeah.
Um, and so I try to be very like balancing with whether they're negative slash positive type questions. Um, but also like just like checking in, like where are you? Like
Yeah.
how are you feeling today? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm very in tune with her cycle and knowing where she's at and
Yeah.
what days I can ask certain questions, whether
Oh
they're too
man.
deep or not too deep. And so I'm doing everything I can possibly think of
Yeah.
to like rebuild connection because
Yeah. Yeah. You're working so hard. It's a lot.
I I'm just one of those people that I hyper focus on a goal. My
Yeah.
goal is to make sure that my family is on a path of positivity and like goodness. Like
Yeah.
not so much that it's like toxic, because I do believe in toxic positivity.
Yeah.
Um, but
But headed in
yeah,
that direction. So it seems like you're wondering how to connect.
how do I get my like how do I find how do I create the time in the day
Yeah.
to ask some of these harder questions where I get a full response? And again,
Mm.
I think part of that, like in my original question, where like I asked a hard question, she falls asleep. I I have trouble like bringing it up the next day because I feel like I want her to just like I want her to come back to the conversation and tell me like what she thought instead of like just losing it throughout the night.
I don't think that your answer is going to be, I could give you a cut and dry, like, here's what things to try, but I don't think it's going to be helpful. I actually think that things going to be helpful is setting a date. Maybe it's actually a date night because you've got three kids. So you need to be somewhere where it's nice like that. And the point of that is asking her, what do you want to feel like in our relationship?
Mhm.
What do you want our relationship to feel like? And then you saying, here's what I want the relationship to feel like. And then the conversation is, how do we do that day to day? Because right
Mhm.
now, I've been trying to get there by asking you questions when you're falling asleep. That's not working.
Mhm.
And I don't want to, that thing from 3 years ago, I don't want that to happen again. I
Mhm.
want the opposite of it. I want to feel so connected and alive and, you know, just like it's like a couple from Bridgerton. Like you gotta, you want whatever you want and dreaming of that together. So it doesn't feel like you guys are figuring out what the maintenance tasks are, but instead you're you're together on the dreaming as much as you are on the solutioning. Because it
Mhm.
sounds like right now a lot of the burden rests on you for how do we solve this and how do we make this better, and that is that is hard to then feel connected because it's not your shared dream. And then if you have that conversation where you can have that shared electric dream, you could even call it a dream night. Then you keep touching back in with that. Like, do you feel like we
Yeah.
got closer or farther from that dream today?
Yeah, I think the one thing that we are currently working on, and I think that she's working on, is she has done therapy before also. Um, and at the beginning of the year, I suggested that we do couples therapy. Um,
Mm,
and she was like, let me think about like what that looks like, because I said, hey, like I really think couples therapy could work for us
yeah.
in this aspect. And she said, before we do that, let me think about it and I will get back to you. Because I said it like I want to work on things. I want to make things better for us.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this is the path to do it. But I'm only willing to do that if you are also willing to do that.
Mm,
And then she came back to a couple days later, 2 or 3 days later, and said, hey, I thought about what you said, and I think that before we do couples therapy, I need to do personal therapy for myself, which she has done before, but for different reasons. Um, and so we're kind of working towards that on getting, she's working towards that on finding a therapist
mm,
that she can talk to because she, because of the rockiness of the relationship over the last 3 years, I
yeah.
think she's created some resentment and things like that. And so she's also working through her things. So I want to be empathetic. I want to be open to allowing her to do the work that she wants and needs to do.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm in these nighttime, when I have these nighttime, like, I want to ask this, like,
Yeah.
sometimes I go, tonight's not the night to ask that. Like, give her some grace on her
Yeah.
day. So
Mm. So
mm,
you don't like, so you're probably not, it sounds like you're saying you don't feel like she's at a place where she would want to have that conversation about the relationship.
yeah, I think she's still in a questioning phase where she's trying to become more clear on for herself on where she wants to take the relationship. I'm not sharing all of her like
Yeah.
details of where she is personally,
Can
but I think
uh,
that also has some effect on the relationship.
I want to make a distinction with what I said because I'm not saying I if you do this, which I think is these questions, your questions at night are going to make a they're going to matter more if she's decided she wants to hear them.
Mhm.
The question is, how do you want to feel in our relationship? Not what do you want our relationship to be?
Mhm.
There's a very big difference there. It's
Oh
not,
yeah, yeah,
you're
definitely.
not asking, do you want, I think that learning what you just shared with me, that's where I would set
Mhm.
a dream night that's saying, I'm not asking you to make a decision about us. I'm not asking you to make a decision about me. I'm asking while we're in this limbo state, what do you want it to feel like?
Mm. That's yeah, I agree. That sounds really nice, actually.
And you both get to answer that question and acknowledge, yeah, we're in a limbo state and there's no reason we have to feel shitty the whole time. So, how do we do both? Like, how do we embrace that but feel, yeah. I would, I still think it's a good idea. I think the tweak is instead of what do you want our relationship to look like or, Bridgerton couple, it's more like, okay, how do you want to feel in this relationship while we're in limbo zone? And then you get
Yeah,
to make active choices about how you interact and where the boundaries are. Because maybe that conversation leads you to realize, oh, we're not going to be talking most evenings. It's going to be once a week. And that's what we try for a
yeah.
while. And
Mhm.
accepting her answer earns so much more trust than convincing her to have an answer you'd like.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you know, but anyway, it was such a joy to talk to you, Adam.
How did you know that the Bridgerton analogy would land?
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm glad that it did.
Yeah,
Don't
I
tell me
appreciate you,
anything. I
Morgan.
haven't watched season 4. Appreciate you too,
I
Adam.
won't say a thing.
Okay, good. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
I wonder if Dan is home. I didn't bring water down. Text, text, text. No, he's not home. Dang it. Okay.
Do you want to go get it real quick?
No.
Okay. You want one question and then maybe go get it or something?
Okay, I'll
We'll
go
see.
get it. I'll go get
Okay.
what. Do you know what question we're doing next?
I do, yeah.
Do they know?
Yes.
Okay. Well, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right
Go
back.
quick.
I love this outfit. Okay.
I do too.
I saw
I'm
myself in the
loving it.
mirror.
Yeah.
I was
The
really
next
insecure about
question.
these sleeves, but God, I'm really not anymore. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the poop. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You're fine. I love it. The next question's from Shannon. She has to go in 4 minutes. So I actually think, how about Shannon, you ask the question that you had, and then you can provide any context. And if you have to leave before we can fully finish it,
What a
then that's okay.
cutie. Look at that hair and you got greenery behind you. Come on.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
I first of all, I just have to say I went to your 3-day weekend long retreat and it was amazing. I love you.
I'm
Um,
so glad. Thanks.
and couples comeback weekend.
Mhm.
My question is actually more along the lines of professional settings.
Ooh, okay.
And because I tend to be more nervous in that arena. Um, I struggle with, I'm wondering if you have tools, practices, ideas on how to speak comprehensively, consistently to the point, like, especially within a professional setting, it's difficult for me to I end up talking in circles or going off in tangents. It's like, what's the point? Why am I opening my mouth? And yeah, as a neurodivergent person,
Yeah.
it's a struggle.
Have you heard of the what am I saying? Why am I saying it? Do you know this?
No.
God, it just who thought of that? Dang it. I can't remember who it is. It's not me. What am I saying? Why am I saying it?
I like that.
It was really helpful to catch yourself. And it's really impressive in professional environments when you cut yourself off and you go, the reason I'm saying this is this.
Mm,
You cut
yeah.
yourself off with intention. It's actually really cool. People like it a lot. Um, and if you're talking in circles because you're starting to feel like maybe they're not getting it, and so you just need to explain it 6 more times and then they'll get it. Instead, stopping and going, I'm a little nervous. I'm not making sense. Do you mind telling me what you heard?
Thank you.
That is is phenomenal. I've used these many times in professional environments,
Beautiful.
and they're great. People respect you so much when you do that. Plus, it locks them in because they're like, "Oh, what did I hear?" That's a great question.
Thank you. It's something I'm thinking about a lot.
What are you going to use from what I just said?
I like both of them. The reason I'm saying this is this. Um, and I also really like can you reflect back to me what it's kind of using the same um I can't remember the term now that
Mirror game?
what's that?
The
The
mirror
mirror,
game?
yes. But in a professional setting. That's great.
Yeah, if you say I'm worried I'm not making sense or I'm right or I'm worried it's not landing the way I'm intending, some kind of I'm statement, then they
Mm.
don't feel like they're getting tested, they feel like they're helping you. And you
Ooh,
just it works really well in negotiation too. So you just got them on your team for understanding what you're saying without them feeling defensive. So you're not testing them. You're like, I'm worried that I'm not landing the way I mean to. I'm worried that I'm not making sense. Do you mind telling me what you heard me say?
thank you.
It's phenomenal. And if they go, "Ooh, I don't know," you go, "Oh, okay. I can hear. I'll try it again." And then you're like, "Okay, what did you hear that time?"
Thank you
Now,
for reiterating that because when you first said it, I was feeling like maybe I would leave that part out because it makes me more vulnerable. Like I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm nervous. But now the way that you're explaining it, it's like very critical.
very critical.
Thank you. All
Very
right. I have
critical.
to hop off. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye, Shannon. I'm glad we got to answer that.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Indy and Shay are here. Hi.
All right, our next
And
question is
ED.
from is from
No way.
E. Uh-huh, for real.
That's fun.
Her question is my neurodivergence makes it easier to forget to check on things or people. How do I
Oh,
work with this so I don't get stuck resisting it? I'm worried, I'm ashamed of this part, and that doesn't feel fair.
I relate so much to that. Tell me more. How is it coming off in your life?
I've been putting this off for weeks. Coming on screen. So I find when I'm in person,
Yeah.
I find it easier to stay present
Yes.
and to keep the communication active, like
Yes.
more often.
Yes.
And when I go away, which it happens quite often, like I travel or I go work somewhere else.
Yes.
So I find it easier to connect with the people that is close by, and I leave my friends at home,
Yep.
like kind of on standby, not on purpose, but maybe if I see something on the street and oh, this reminded me of you, but sometimes it can pass like weeks or months. And some friends can keep up with that rhythm, but some others cannot. And especially with romantic relationships, I find it especially hard because I feel like those require a different level of presence that I not always I feel like I can give.
Yeah. So your
So,
question is,
like, how do I make relationships work?
how are you doing it now?
I'm hardly doing it. I'm having a hard time.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I know this is the theme and I keep saying this over and over again, but
Yeah.
for neurodivergence or anyone really, the question is how do I accept how it's acceptance, not change. So it's how do I accept me and you and how do I and vice versa. So I am like that as well. And I mean, so much so my husband was like, I'm moving in. It was 1 month into dating, and he was like, I'm moving in because you don't text. Because if I'm not in front of you, even if I think of you, I'm not, it's so much work. I don't understand people who have long text like I can't, it hurts my brain. I don't get it. And people take that personally, and that's okay. The thing I'm currently doing, I'm not, and I don't have all the answers. I can just tell you what I do as somebody who's similar is I say it's okay. I'm like it makes sense that you are hurt by this,
Mm.
And I don't mean to hurt you. And you deserve to not be hurt. And I wish this didn't hurt you. And that's not my intention. And so even like every relationship I have, every friendship I have, one of my first conversations with them is as no matter how much I love you, this is what it's going to feel like to be in a mostly text-based relationship with me. So if I I'll set it in my calendar that I talk to you at these times. I'll have a time in the morning that I check all my texts and like go through those. I do not promise, and I frequently remind people, I do not promise to respond quickly, and I don't expect you to respond quickly. And if that's a need for you in the relationship, I think you're so cool, and I want to be in a friendship or a relationship with you. And I'm not your girl. I am not gonna do that. If I do that, I will have to sacrifice so much because it takes so much for me to focus and respond. It doesn't people who don't have this don't like who aren't like us don't get this because it's so easy. Like my husband, it's so easy for him. He's carrying on like 10 conversations a day on text, and I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you jump between things that frequently. I don't know how you do it. I just have to fully stop and like have that conversation, and then I get to move on with my life. So I manage expectations, and I accept if they feel hurt. And I'm like, you're allowed to feel hurt. I promise I'm not meaning to hurt you. This is how I am with everyone. And if it's too much for you, your boundaries I respect. And if you don't want to maintain friendship, that's okay. That's my solution. And I took too long to say it, but
No. It's perfect because also what I'm hearing is maybe the component is not working so hard on trying to change me, but to be more okay with the way things work and some relationships dissolving and some others will stay. Yeah, I think it's the part of me trying to control not having relationships dissolve
yeah.
because I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. 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 And I mean, you can do an Excel spreadsheet and Google Calendar reminders to check off all the people that you've talked to. And if that feels aligned and fun, then go for it. But if
That's
it
the
feels like
thing.
hell, you're going to resent every person on on that spreadsheet. I have I guess acquaintance who does that. Like he writes down everyone he knows on an Excel spreadsheet and the date at which he last talked for them and the favors he's given them. I was like, wow, such a good idea because then I can remember to give people love. I, as soon as I clicked on spreadsheets, I went, oh, I'll hate everyone I put in here. And I clicked out. I was like, I'm just going to resent you. You're going to become homework to me. That's not going to work for me. That's not because it works for him. That's why he does it. But that accepting who you are and being curious and compassionate about who you are is always the better answer in my book.
Sounds about right. And since I'm here, can I ask one more question
Yes.
that I've been dragging? This one is about I've been working a lot in my communication style and trying to be more clear and express my needs. The thing I keep on running in is I forget. Like we have the talk, we get some agreements, and it works okay for a couple days, and then one of us will go back to the previous behavior that was not working. And by then, I already forgot we had the talk. So we keep on running on the same issues.
Yes.
And when something specific happens, then I remember like, oh, we had an agreement about this. So I get upset about the agreement and me forgetting.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you agreeing on it? Sounds like you're having a conversation where you decide how to change a behavior and then you
Yes.
forget to change the behavior.
Or the other person, like maybe he did something that I found hurtful. So we had the talk and he promised he was not trying not to do it again.
Yeah.
And I mean, life happens, we get comfortable and we get to our, I mean, I'm trying not to take it personal, but
Yeah.
it still hurts.
Yeah.
So on top of the hurt, I'm also a little bit angry at me for forgetting, like
Yeah, of
not
course.
to uphold my boundary.
Yeah. I get that. Yes. Yes. It's like, damn it. I made that choice. We've had this conversation. I know we both know what we wanted to do. Why did we not do it? We agreed on it. Why did we not do it? And then to then get angry about it is typically us trying to make sure we don't screw up again. Like, if I can make this screw up painful enough, then I won't do it again. I think is the protective reason we do that. But it doesn't work. Punishment doesn't work for humans. It doesn't work for changing the, again, root cause. It being punitive, like punishing something, just makes you scared and probably will make you stop trying, not actually change your behavior. But being curious about the goal. So I'll give an example. Dan and I have decided that I take out wait, no, let's use a different one. This, because this one's more successful. We're in the process of the other one. I'm going to load the dishwasher. I do the dishes and I unload the dishwasher in the morning. We've decided this, okay? We had a conversation. I want to contribute more because he's a kitchen king, but I don't think that's cool. I don't love that it's so uneven. I want to contribute more. Okay, we've landed at this. Then I forget because we just made that decision and I still have my old habits. So I did it for 2 nights and then I completely forgot and I didn't run the dishwasher. And then I woke up in the morning and I was like, crap, he ran the dishwasher. I didn't poo. And originally, for months, I was like, I just need to be better. I just need to be better. This is not okay. This is not okay. Then I shifted and I went, we both want me to run the dish. We both want this. I want to do this. I'm not choosing, I'm not deliberately trying not to do this. So how about I just understand how I work? What's the thing that's getting in the way? If we both have the goal that I end up unloading the dishwasher, including me, or starting the dishwasher, then what's getting in the way? Oh, I'm waiting until the very last minute to do it. There's a delay start setting on here. What if, because as soon as I am on the couch, life has ended. There is nothing else. Dishwasher doesn't exist. Humans don't exist. Just the couch and me. These are the things that exist. And I went, oh, okay. What if I don't get to the couch until the dishwasher's loaded and ready and I hit start, but there's a delay start because Dan has a yogurt snack afterwards. So I do a delayed start. The point is not my solution. The point is when I was punishing myself, I kept trying the same solution that didn't work over and over and over again. When I shifted to, I believe I have that goal, there's an obstacle in the way. Let's figure out each obstacle and solve each obstacle, embracing who I am, not trying to pretend I'm not like that. If every time I hit the couch, it's not going to exist anymore, that just means I have to do it before the couch. So what if my habit now is going to be I go straight there after dinner to the dishwasher and then move on? It's such a simple example, but it's true for no matter what the conversation is and how deep it is. If you both truly have the goal, then when we fail at the goal, the question is not, why didn't you do this? Do you not care about me? Why didn't I do that? Don't I care about you? The question is, I care about you and I wanted to do that. You care about me and you wanted to do that. But for some reason, we didn't succeed at it. What got in our way and how do we make it not get in our way next time? So we become the same team. That makes so much more permanent change and you bond through that because you're actually a team through it. So the thing that used to make you more and more disconnected is making you more and more connected because you're still on the team of, well, we want this to happen. How do we get there? So that's my response. What do you think? What do you, well, oh, wait, hold on. What'd you say?
Sorry, I had to mute myself for a second. Uh, I see that as like teaming up against the issue instead of, I mean, that
Yes.
that is more clear. But I'm just not sure I'm completely clear in this was more about boundaries, and maybe I'm not doing boundaries the way I'm supposed to. because
Mm.
as I understood boundaries, is I state my boundary, but it's also my responsibility to keep it. And
Yeah.
that's the part I struggle with. Like I forget about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. You're allowed to forget your boundaries, and when you remember them, you restate them.
Okay.
Like you can like I get that feeling. I've decided I don't accept this anymore. When this happens, I do this, but then I forget and I let you do it, and then I didn't do the thing. As soon as I remember, I get to say, "Oh, I'm feeling really mad about this because I had a boundary around it and I forgot. I'm gonna go do that now." You give yourself like you're allowed to. You can't choose your first response. You can choose your second. Your first response isn't going to be the new boundary. It's going to be the old way you handled it. And when you realize, oh, I'm handling it the old way. What was my boundary again? Right. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. I just realized that this is happening again. So I'm going to do this is how I handle it. And I don't know. Does that help? There is a just thumbs up me. I see.
No, it helps. It helps a lot. Ever since I heard you saying that about like the second response, that has opened up so much for me because
I'm
I was
so
expecting me to have the perfect response always.
yeah.
So if I didn't, I
Yeah.
would be like hard on me again. Like, oh, I knew how to do it differently. Why do I keep doing it the same way I did it before?
Yeah.
So this opens up a lot. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm pretty sure that's not my line. I use it all the time, but I'm pretty sure I got it from like Brene Brown or somebody, but it just got so integrated into me. I should Google that and find who originated it so I can tell them.
It's great. I mean, I heard it the first time from you, so
I wonder I would be so proud of myself if that was mine.
it's helpful regardless.
Okay, good. I'm
you.
Googling it right now on my screen. You can choose your second quote. Okay.
This might be an ADHD moment. I did the same thing, couldn't find an answer.
Maybe I did make it up. That can't be true. Okay. Anyway, I don't think I made that up. I really don't think I made that up, but I don't know who to attribute. Anyway,
Thank you.
thank you, ED. It was good to talk to you. I can't believe how similar we are. Wow.
All right, next we have another of our favorite people.
Indy!
Indy's question
Hi.
was, I'm struggling with my partner's neurodivergence. I feel like I have to help him find systems and solutions to manage it, and I'm resenting it. What do I do?
What makes you feel like you are responsible for the systems and solutions?
1 second, let me just turn you up. Maybe because of the direction our relationship has always been. I've always been more the introspective, like emotional therapy talk person. So I'm usually the one bringing up our problems. I'm usually like advocating for maintenance before we blow up.
Yeah.
I'm the one like saying, hey, I'd really love to go to premarital counseling. Like I'm the one bringing up all these things. Whereas my husband, as best as I can describe him without going down a whole rabbit hole, is I think he came from a bad home, and I don't think he spends a lot of time thinking about stuff,
Okay.
about anything. I think he somewhere got stuck in survival mode. And so like any moment, like even, and this is he didn't used to do this when he was younger, but definitely in his 30s and maybe his late 20s when a lot of shit started to happen. Any moment he can numb his mind, he's scrolling. Any moment he like if he's taking a bath, he's scrolling. Anything he can do to not think about big things. And big things tend to be like maybe big feelings or like the future. He doesn't think too much into the future. Like anything that might feel like effort, um, feels like unsavory to him, feels like stressful to him, feels like too much work to maybe handle. So usually when it comes to relationship stuff, I'm the one like advocating for stuff.
Okay.
And he hasn't been diagnosed yet, but he relates to so much ADHD stuff, so we think he needs to go get a diagnosis. It just feels rough because let's say, for example, we try to have a relationship check-in every Sunday. And in one of our last relationship check-ins, I said, I want you to be the initiator of more of the things that are relating to our relationship, right? Like whether it's the date nights, whether it's you initiating a relationship check-in, whether it's you initiating us to spend time together or something like that. And then we didn't have a relationship check-in for the next couple months. And I was sitting on that because I was like, oh, let me not micromanage. Let me see when it happens.
Hmm.
And I brought it up once and I was like, hey, look, I've been really upset because we need these relationship check-ins. And the last talk we had was that you were going to be responsible for bringing these up. And the moment it was your responsibility, we go a couple months without having one. And what sucks about this, because I know it sucks for me and I know it sucks for my husband, is that he needs urgency to do stuff. Like for him, unless it's blowing up in his face, it's not a priority, or his brain doesn't feel like it's something he needs to do, which leaves me feeling like, where do I fall when it comes to like priority? You know, where is maintaining this relationship not good? Because like whenever we get into big talks, he's like, oh, this is so draining. And I'm like, yeah, me too, bro. Like I would rather not be here having a 3-hour conversation to you about shit that I've already talked to you about. But because you're not participating in this maintaining of a relationship with me, now we're having a problem, you know? And I'm not Angel, right? You know, if you know me, I'm like super sassy. I'm super sassy. And the other day, I straight up told him, it's like, I would not apply to be a lawyer if I didn't have the credentials. But here you are, you know, applying to be a husband and a father. And it's like, it's one thing if I understand with ADHD, like your brain works differently. So it's like, you cannot be like me. You cannot be like someone else. Your brain works differently. But the part that's hard for me is like, how how do you take responsibility and accountability for that in a space like without shame, without feeling bad about it? But how do you just understand that, okay, I have this thing. It's harder for me to deal with stuff, or it's harder for me to be organized, or it's harder for me to do this, or it's harder for me to set priority. How do people who are neurodivergent deal with that without constantly relying on their partner? Because I feel like I have to swoop in more than I'd like, and it makes me feel like I'm having like immense emotional burden and labor in the relationship.
Yeah.
And I also understand from his perspective that that must suck because it's like you let someone down and then they tell hey, dude, you let me down. And they're like, oh shit, I fucked up again. Fuck. You know, like, I'm a disappointment again. And it's like, I get that. But then I throw it back and I'm like, oh shit, but the fact that you feel bad because you let me down, is that now my responsibility too? So now I'm dealing with your shame and your ADHD and your, lack of coping mechanisms for this thing that you think you have. And it's like, that's a lot on my plate.
Yeah. So I'm not going to answer any of your questions about him because he's not your responsibility, even though he feels like he is. And
Right.
what I'm hearing and what I'm more interested in is, or what's more helpful for this conversation and you is your part of this. Like, what in that conversation, every conversation that the conversation examples you gave me were about his actions and how they need to change so that you can finally feel better and he can finally feel better.
Mm.
And now you're both frustrated because you both hate him or that part of him that does that because neither of you want him to be doing what he's doing. And you're stuck there in that conversation about changing his actions. I feel like so it's kind of putting the cart before the horse in a way where you are actually in touch with how it makes you feel to a certain degree because you're mentioning some of those feelings. But right now, you're both acting under the assumption that the thing that's going to help you feel better is if he changes. And that's going to keep you stuck because now you're still now you're still leading the changes. You're still telling him how to change. You're still telling him, I wouldn't apply to be a lawyer if I didn't have the credentials, but you're applying to be a husband and a father and you don't have the credentials. What the heck? Why are you doing this?
Right.
It's still about him getting the credentials.
Right.
And how do you shift moment to moment of starting to have more boundaries around what's yours and what's his? So not, I want you to, I want you to initiate Sunday check-ins, because that's, if he did do that, it sounds like it would be to please you, not because it's something he's choosing. And that would feel crappy too. After a certain amount of time, when he does things that you've asked him to do, but it's clearly because you asked him to do it and he's just doing it so that you'll be happy, that doesn't feel like a partner. That's an employee. That's still
Right.
burden on you.
Right.
And the only way to shift that from your perspective, and there is no guarantee that he changes, but is your feelings mattering. Not, and that the thing that proves that they matter isn't him changing. It's you owning them. It's you saying, I'm feeling this, and this is what I'm going to do to care for that feeling. I'm feeling this, and this is what I'm going to do to care for that feeling. I'm feeling resentful. And so what I'm going to do to care for that feeling is go get curious about it and find what I need, and I'll tell you, and we can have a conversation. And I'm feeling angry. Okay. I'm going to go care for that feeling. It's telling me something important. That's why the scene questions exist, because I fell into this so many times and really thought, if I can just say it the right way, and I tried so many different angles. If I say it sassy enough, if I say it clever enough, if I say it strong, if I say it soft, if I say it gentle, if I say it was so exhausting to figure out the right way to say the thing so that he'd take ownership over it and then he would do the thing. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The only thing that I've seen that works is accepting who the other person is right now, whether they're addicted to doom scrolling and whatever, at the same time as I accept myself, which means he's doom scrolling right now. I'm feeling rejected. And I'm going to go care for that feeling by doing this. And I'll say it out loud. I'm feeling rejected. Even though you're not trying to make me feel rejected, I'm feeling rejected. So I'm going to care for that feeling by calling a friend or taking a nap or getting a hug or whatever. And sometimes you can ask for something, but it's still an I statement. I'm feeling rejected and I want to care for that feeling by, I'm going to go journal and learn about myself a little. And then maybe I go, I'd really love a hug. Are you open to giving that to me? And if you say no, that's information for me. That's information and it's scary because if I stop trying to control your actions, what if I lose you? What if it means we can't be together?
This makes a lot of sense to me, but I think there's so many things that I'm catching on. I'm gonna try not to ramble. When we talk about not changing someone,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense to me. But it also doesn't make sense to my brain because, of course, within a relationship, there's going to be so much change. I've changed so much in this relationship. And some of that has been through my own work. And some of that is because I've looked at Matt and he's looked at me and he's like, dude, this makes me feel bad.
Yes.
You might need to do something about that shit. And I've gone and I've been like, dang, that's a bad look. He might be right. I might need to do something about that. So it's
Yeah.
like we're constantly giving each other feedback and we're constantly
Yes.
helping each other grow, which
Yes.
is, right, the change that you want to have in a relationship. We want to grow together. And that's the
Yes.
thing about my husband is like my husband, when I describe my dream relationship to him, he's like 100% dude. I'd love that. What do you mean? Flirting all the time, regular sex, check-ins, like no blow-ups. Yeah, that sounds amazing. But he's also at a loss as to how to get there. He's
Yeah.
not going to be, he's not the kind of person, and I don't need him to be the kind of person who's like, oh, let me Google that. He's not going to be one of the people who show up on these calls by himself. You know, he came to
Yeah.
the couples weekend, I initiated it. That's fine. I'm fine to hold this down as like, okay, the emotional stuff's my shit. Like, I like this stuff. I enjoy it. I look it up in my spare time. You don't need to be like that.
Yeah.
But I do feel, and maybe this is wrong of me, and maybe this is like entitled of me or whatever. I do feel when I use that kind of lawyer and credentials analogy, it's not about you changing who you are. It's understanding that when you get into a marriage, you're gonna be able to need to talk about your feelings. Point blank, period. I don't care what kind of marriage you're in. At some point, your feelings are gonna come up. Being an
Yeah.
effective communicator is gonna make your marriage better, right?
Yeah.
It's like these are things that we kind of accept that we need to do. And it's it's not a it feels weird because when we talk about it, it's like, oh, I can just leave him to do whatever he's doing, and that's fair. And like, granted, I fell in love with him as he is, with none of the pushing or the nagging or the begging or the crying, right? So that's there. I love him. That's fair.
Right.
But it's hard for me. It's hard
I
for me to be like, I'm gonna think about my feelings and then I'm gonna communicate those to you, or I'm gonna do the things that I need to do.
yeah.
And that's going to help us move forward. Because how? Because he still needs to learn some of these skills. There's still some skills I need to learn for the relationship.
Yes. How those two things go together.
Okay.
I'm not saying we don't change in relationships. I'm saying no one can change us, even in
Okay.
relationships. So my husband saying, I feel rejected when you scroll your phone makes me choose to change because I don't want him to feel that way. My husband saying, you need to scroll your phone less makes me defensive and feel accused by him and attacked by him and like he's trying to change me.
Is it
I-
is the
And
difference that we're focusing on our feelings?
the difference is he is not acting like he can choose for me. I get to choose that. And when I say to my husband, I feel like you don't care about me when you don't ask me questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you need to ask me more questions, which is I'm going to control you into
Okay.
being a person who will love me. I'm going to force you to change into the thing. If I'm going to convince you to change in the way I need you to change, I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying vulnerably, I feel like this when this happens.
Mm-hmm.
You get to choose what to do with that. I don't get to choose what to do with that. I don't get to choose whether or not you scroll on your phone. I don't get to choose whether or not you tell me about your feelings. I don't get to choose I don't get to choose any of that.
Can I
Just
ask the
to shift.
difference, like the mental difference between, and this is not me challenging you, this is like my brain, this is the only way my brain
Oh,
understands.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
Okay.
You're not the only one.
If I were to say to my husband,
Yes.
I need relationship check-ins on a weekly basis because I know that he doesn't like random emotional conversations. And it's better for him also if there's a set time so his brain can expect it and he knows going into it, oh, this is we're going to be talking about emotions. Versus if I say, I've been feeling really neglected lately. Um, we haven't had time for our weekly check-ins, and that's made me feel super sad. What is the difference in those two? Why, not negative connotation, but why are why are we more encouraged to do the latter? Talk about our feelings. Is it that they are then seeing how that impacts you? Or
Yeah. Wow. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Which out of those two that you said, which one would you hear better?
it's
I need
weird to imagine it coming from him because he never asked for anything. But I think
I need check-ins every week or I feel really lonely and I miss you. And that's in part because we don't do our weekly check-ins anymore, and that makes me really sad.
I would prefer the second one, and that's clicking in my brain.
Yeah.
But maybe to hit back on neurodivergence, my husband gets too much emotion from me. Like I ramble, and he's often asked me, like, can you do this in bullet point form? And that's sometimes hard for me because I'm a super emotional person. I'm like, I can't tell you my soul's contents in a bullet point. You know, I need you to feel this emotion. I want to tell my story. And he's like,
Yes.
I'm getting lost. You know?
Yeah. I don't know that you're giving him too much emotion. Um, I'm wondering if the more you give him, the more confused he is on how to get it right. And most of the time when you guys are interacting, what he's looking for is how do I get this right? And
Mm,
when we stick on the I need this, we keep in that framework. And
mm,
the clue that he doesn't ask you for anything, that also lines up with somebody who's just trying to get it right and numbs out
yeah.
in between. So the only way that you break that is we're no longer in how to get it right or wrong framework. We are
You know
now
what's hard though?
in feel framework.
I heard someone else say this, and it reminded me in the chat earlier. I definitely need to do something to get over my resentment because while you're telling me this,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, wow, this is so smart. Of course, Morgan's right. Like, this is what we need to do. But my brain is saying this, wow, another thing that I need to do. And you know what's so strange is sometimes it's so contradictory because like, of course, no one wants to have problems. My husband doesn't want to have problems. He adores me. But there's a lack of curiosity there about how you would go about solving a problem or what would work better. You know, my husband never comes to me and be like, did you like that? How could I do this differently? Like, did that feel good for you? Like, we had a check-in, like, was that good? Like, did we bring up all the right stuff? Like, there's no curiosity there. And
Yep.
so that's rough because it's like, while I agree with everything you're saying, it also feels like another thing for me to do, another thing for me to understand, another thing for me to, and it's like,
Yeah.
oftentimes I'm fine if my husband doesn't do a task. Like if my husband doesn't
Yeah.
have a check-in with me, but what I would appreciate if he's like, babe, I saw my alarm go off for the relationship check-in. We don't have time for it because we're doing this activity, but I miss you. I love you. I'm here for you. Do you want to postpone it? Rain check next week. And then a quick kiss. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I usually don't mind if the task gets done or not, but a little bit of communication, a little bit of like checking in with me. And it just
Intention, feelings. Yeah.
feels like another thing that I have to teach him that he never learned, and through no fault of his own that he didn't learn that. That's not his fault. He didn't come from a home where it's like communication, or like you said, he feels like a burden if you ask for anything. So,
Yep.
you know, there's feels like a lot of unlearning and relearning he has to do, but he doesn't have the mental capacity for it, and he's not seeking to do it. And
I
therefore, all I can do is kind of be patient and see if it happens naturally or.
I when you hear this, you hear one more thing. I'm saying this is the only thing. Your list is now empty. The entire list is you indie to indie. What
Mm,
am I feeling and how am I going to care for that feeling? Full stop. And you communicate that to him, full stop.
Mhm.
And I'm not adding to your list, I'm replacing it. When you
okay.
notice that you're trying to be responsible for him, you go, "Oh, cool. What am I feeling?
Mm.
And how do I care for that feeling? Not how do I make him better or how
And
do I
do I
make me
always
better?"
communicate that to him, or is that something that I'm just doing in my own time?
Yes, please. If you're open to it, yes. And
Okay.
because what he's probably going to hear and because I'm hearing this dynamic is he's spending most of his time with you or in a relationship with you, hoping not to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't have evidence that he's gotten it wrong, he just stays quiet.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to check in and see what's right or wrong because he's probably going to hear that it's wrong. And he doesn't want to hear that. So he's doing his best job to not get right or wrong. So there are these two frameworks in our brain that I see people do, and my husband was very much in this framework when we first started dating and is now in this one. This one is what is right, what is wrong, what am I supposed to do? What am
Right.
I supposed to do to not be in trouble? What's okay? It doesn't seem like she's upset. I'm okay right now. It doesn't seem like anybody's upset with me. I'm okay. And it's not just you. It's probably the
Right.
entire world.
Can I just say, without sounding so silly and sassy, it just sounds so counterproductive. That's why I feel for my husband, because I'm
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, to be in his brain. Because
Yes.
like if I don't want to get something wrong, I'm gonna be asking all the questions. Bitch, you better believe I'm gonna be studying for that test. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It's like I'm gonna try and get all the answers I
But
can so that I don't get it wrong.
what if 95% of the time you try, you find out you got it wrong?
Say that again, sorry.
If 95% of the time that you try, you get it
Mm-hmm.
wrong, you're going to
That's
stop trying.
it's rough, yeah.
And what it sounds like happens for him, and honestly, all of us, we don't hear, if you are in that framework, especially anything less than, yeah, that was perfect, is getting it wrong.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
constantly being told, why would you work really hard to do something that you have almost exclusively failed at?
right.
Every time I try, I do
Oh.
it wrong.
This is so awful because, something that Ryan said in the chat and something you're saying right now hits me so hard. It was something about like getting things right and punishment doesn't work. And sometimes I find myself thinking that, like in the depths of our arguments, I'm then bawling, and I'm like crying till I have a headache. And I'm like, wow, you're looking at me right now and nothing's hitting for you. In fact, you're going numb. Like you can't
Yes.
even put your arm around me. And I'm like bleeding out in front of you. And it
Yes.
feels like you're not here. You're nowhere to be seen.
Yes. Yes. Because when you're in right and wrong framework, you crying and bleeding out feels like evidence that I suck and I did it wrong.
Right.
I can't feel for your pain because all I see is that I'm the cause of it. So the
Right.
only thing I can do is be far away from you. Why would I get close to you? I'm clearly the one who's hurting you.
And you know what's crazy? This is the awful part about the resentment, right? Because when you hear that, all I can feel is sympathy for my husband. And I feel sad that he grew up in that way, and I feel sad that he's had to live in that way. But I also feel sad for myself because I know I deserve someone to hold me in that moment. I
Yes.
know there's a little girl inside of me that deserves the world. I know that there's a girl here who her mum suffered through 23 years of abusive relationship to be here,
Yeah.
to be here, and this is how I get treated in return. And it sucks because there's no one to blame, because I can't blame him. I love him and I understand what he's going through. But
And
it again, it feels like another thing that it feels like someone else is telling me that in the depths of my sadness and pain, I have to have understanding for yet another person. And it's
no,
rough.
in the depths of your sadness and pain, that little girl needs to be held by you first.
Right.
You're waiting for him in that moment. And you're taking that as evidence that she doesn't deserve to be held.
No, but that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy because in that moment, that's why I get sassy, because my protection flares up and I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I deserve to be held. And then we get into conversations of like, why am I here? Like, I love you. I know you love me, but obviously you're not in a point in your life where you know how to do this. And I don't know if I should keep self-abandoning myself by being with someone who clearly doesn't know how to do it. And of course, it's like
Yes.
that's painful for him to hear too, because all you're hearing is your partner being like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna leave if you can't get your shit together."
It's
You know?
hearing I've done it wrong again.
Right. Right. How do you break that
You
cycle?
you can't do anything for his except heal yours.
Right.
I truly want you to that entire list of things that you do, the check-ins, the responsibility, the helping him with his systems, the understand all of that stuff. Every time you start to do one of those things, those are no longer things you do. Those are indicators that you need to turn to yourself and go, what am I feeling right now? And how do I care for that feeling?
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
That's your only job. And when you start doing that for yourself, you will naturally do it for him more. You'll naturally start to go, what are you feeling right now? Oh, that makes sense. Of course you're scrolling. You're so anxious and overwhelmed. Yeah, of course you are. Okay,
Yeah.
talk to you later. Like, but you can't give that to him unless it's overflowing from you. It's why I'm
Right.
not putting it on the list. I'm not saying you need to turn to him and reflect his feeling and be compassionate about him. No, you don't.
Right.
You when you try to go help him, fix him, change his behavior so you feel better, all of those are great big neon signs saying, I have a feeling that needs to be heard by me. I have a feeling that I'm running away from, and here's how I run. These are all the ways you run. We're turning now to you and going, what am I feeling and how do I care for that feeling?
While you're going through that process, because I assume it's going to take, this is going to be my last question. I'm so sorry, guys. While you're
No, I
going through
love
that
this.
process, because I imagine that takes a long time, right? I imagine that takes a while to get into that routine and to be there for each other in that way, and for him to see those changes and for myself to feel those changes. While you're doing that, how do you avoid resentment or disappointment that your partner cannot be the person to see you right now?
You don't.
Okay.
I'm feeling resentful and sad that he can't see me right now.
Okay.
What am I going to do to care for that? Not get rid of it, care for that. Even though he's not trying to make me feel this way, it makes sense that I do. It makes
Mm-hmm.
sense that I'm sad.
Isn't that going to be like
Okay.
a really shitty problem to deal with in the future, though? Or is it like the idea that we'll have the tools later after we're better at listening to each other and caring for each
You'll
other?
either have the tools later or you'll know yourself well enough that you're walking away.
Okay.
And it doesn't increase resentment to acknowledge resentment and accept it. It actually gives it the lifespan it's supposed to have.
Okay.
So I can say, so I can say to my husband, he wasn't asking me questions. And in that moment, I felt like, he's like, why don't you share? And I was like, because you're not asking me questions and I don't share unless you ask me questions. And he was like, oh, but I just say things. Sounds this is familiar to somebody here. Um, what, what, but I just say things when I want you to know something. So I thought you would say things when you want to, and I'm like, I don't do that. And went, yeah, I guess I'm expecting you to do that. I feel resentful and I stop wanting to listen to you when you're just saying things and not asking me any questions. I just said that. And it's not you're saying doing something wrong. It's not your way is worse than my way. It's, oh, I feel resentful and less interested when you don't ask me questions.
So it's like it's like a willingness and a vulnerability with your own feelings instead of like the demands and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay.
And just turning to them, like not defending my right to feel resentment, not suppressing my resentment, but instead being like, it's the difference between grasping and holding. It's like going, oh, I feel resentment. And I don't really like listening to you if you haven't asked me any questions. There's no judgment towards the resentment. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Actually, I guess I am saying it's good. All feelings are good. It's like, it's here for a really good reason. And when you bring it out like that, it just breathes. And
Right.
especially if you go, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm not saying that you did something wrong. I'm saying this is how I feel. And now I get to choose what to do with that. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. And then I thought about it some more and I was like, actually, you do ask me questions. Just right now, for some reason, I've got this perception that you don't because tonight in this one conversation, you're not. And I didn't ask him to change anything. And this morning, he asked me questions because, and he was like, so what's the most exciting? I gave him examples of questions I asked him and he remembered. And this morning he was like, so what's the most exciting thing you're going to do today? What's the most challenging thing you're going to do today? And I was like, that's so cute. And thank you. And also, you know what? I was wrong. I don't really need that.
Right.
I don't really like those questions. Never mind. But there's so much lightness because I didn't go, I have a feeling and you need to change a thing to fix that feeling. I went, I have a feeling. Huh. And that is so much lighter for both of you. And I did not mean to make my husband's shift from that wrong way, that like, am I getting it wrong? Am I getting it right way of thinking to the feeling way of thinking? But because I never cared if he was doing it right or wrong, like in my past relationships, I did. But in this one, was so adamant that it was more about, well, what are we feeling? And then we tend to choose better things.
Right.
he didn't have to, he started to shift. He liked that. He was like, that looks really nice. I want to do that. And I
Right.
slowly watched him shift into that, not because I was forcing him to, but because he would be like, ah, I'm so sorry. And I'd be like, why are you apologizing? I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. Like, it's fine.
Right.
I just have this feeling. You're not responsible for it. I just have a feeling. All right. I'm not doing anything except I'm saying, here's what I feel. And here's what I'm going to do to care for that feeling. And sometimes the thing I do to care for that feeling is literally just saying it.
Right.
And I'm not expecting anyone to do anything about it.
Mm.
It's allowed. It's just allowing it.
I'm gonna try it.
No
We'll
list.
try it.
Your list is no longer a list of things to do. It's a list of things that when you do, you go, oh, I'm having a feeling that I'm running from over here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix or defend a feeling by doing this. How about we
Yeah.
just, yeah.
I will try my best to do that.
Tell me how it goes.
I
Right.
will. Thank you.
We'll write it in the chat too, so you can put it. Because one of the a really cool way to do this, because I know you integrate, you get something and then you integrate it. I've heard about your story. I've heard your story, and I've met you enough that I'm like, it's gonna be so fun to watch. Like in 2 weeks, who are you gonna be? Um, I have my clients write on a notes app if you use an iPhone or whatever notes that you have everywhere. The header is I'm feeling fill in the blank. So I'm
Mhm.
feeling blank, comma.
Okay. Right.
This is what I'm gonna do to care for that feeling, colon.
This is what I'm gonna do to care for that feeling. Okay.
Yes, and then you just every time you think of it, you go into that note and you wrote, I'm feeling resentful. This is what I'm gonna do for care for that feeling. I'm feeling happy. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm feeling, and you just
My
have
sassy brain is immediately like, I'm feeling resentful. The first thing I'm gonna do is shout at my husband.
perfect. Put it
I'll
and
bust his balls. I
put
feel
the
like
list there. And what's cool is that then after a day, after a week, you're like, oh my God, look how many times I cared about my feeling. I didn't defend
right.
it. I didn't fix it. I didn't resent. I didn't try to get rid of it. I just let the feeling be allowed.
Because the over communication has been feeling like it's degrading myself too. Like as like people
Yeah.
say over communication feels like a form of begging. That
Yeah.
has felt rough.
Yeah.
Okay, I have homework. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. That was fun. Such
We
good
had a few
questions.
people in the comments ask, what about if I'm the
Coward.
partner? What about if I'm the one who feels like I'm always getting it wrong, or I don't understand their feeling, or I'm being blamed, or I don't have the system? Do you have any thoughts? Oh, you have many thoughts. Do you have any initial strategies for
If
somebody
I'm
who
the
would be
partner
looking for
who keeps screwing up and getting it wrong all the time,
Mhm.
well, that's me. If you were here at the beginning, you know that it's me. And the be better thing doesn't work. The knowing what the goal is and trusting yourself enough to be like, I do want to achieve that goal. I do want to remember things, remember birthdays or show up for, um, I don't know, remember the meeting that I have every Friday at 8:30, but somehow I always forget. Remember the dishwasher or whatever the thing is. Uh, trusting that is my goal. And I'm not trying to shoot myself in the foot, but obviously I am right now. So what's getting in my way? Like embracing who I am. How do I work with who I am to make that goal happen? If it's a goal that I actually even want. And if it's a goal that's going to make me resent you or a self-abandon and it's not a goal I actually want, then how do I change the goal? And that's the conversation we had. Because Dan and I used to have a lot of conversations about I would drop so many balls and it was not cool. And I hated it. And most of the time, what it would just spiral. And then we would have this long conversation where I was really validating why he's upset and he deserves to be upset because obviously I suck and I should be better and I'm trying. This is the best. This is my best. This is my absolute best. And it's still not enough. And I agree. I should be better. I don't know why I'm like this. I don't know why I don't see when things are dirty. I don't know why I don't like it about myself. I want to be different. I also don't, it's that John Mulaney joke when he's talking about driving and he's in the wrong lane and he's trying to turn and he's tries to cross multiple lanes of traffic to do it. And as he's doing it, everybody's honking at him. And he's like, I also don't want me to be doing what I am doing. I agree. I was like, that's my entire life. That's what I feel like. I don't want to be doing this either. And we got caught in that cycle and it was awful. And he was mad and I was mad at me, not even him. And then I was like, well, what's the option besides divorce? Because I can't fix me. I like can't, this is me trying my best. And then we realized that was the problem. We had both decided I should just be better. I should push harder. I should be different. I should be more like him. It doesn't work. What worked was, okay, pull it back moment to moment, item by item. What, and I don't mean go to a list. I mean, when you run into a problem, the new solution is not, okay, how do I be better? Instead, it's, I know that I had the goal of doing that. I had the goal of unloading the dishwasher in the morning. I had the goal of starting the dishwasher at night. I still forgot what is a way that I start to remember that actually works for me. And when it fails, I tried the alarm thing, didn't work. Okay, then let's try another thing. The thing that works now is I get up from the table, I go to the dishwasher, I set the delayed start, then I go to the couch. And that works. But we tried a bunch of stuff before that worked. And that is the only way I've seen work at creating a solution is when you accept and embrace and work with who you are. And when you screw up and you don't do it right, instead of screwing up, that's information. That wasn't the right solution. I didn't fail because that solution failed. I'm not broken because that solution failed. That was the wrong solution. It's like putting on trying to put on a 2-year-old's pants and you're like, God, I'm too big. What's wrong with me? No, those pants were for a 2-year-old, but they didn't fit. Like when a solution doesn't work, it's not that you are broken or you are wrong. It's that solution didn't fit you. Let's try another one. Let's try another thing. It's all constantly an experiment. And the more we looked at it the more fun we had. And it's wild because now literally the same fights that got us to the point where I was planning divorce and how do I make him happier by giving him somebody who's a better partner, or I'll even help him date someone. Like I'm like so frustrated that I'm such a terrible partner. The same things that caused the biggest blow ups, the biggest like disconnects are now the things that make us feel the closest, that we laugh the most over, that we're the same team on. Like these things that were so detrimental to us in the past are now these bonding agents. Like they're fun and they're jokey. There's playfulness. Like it's shifting to that is really helpful.
That
I
was
did a
perfect.
little. Okay, good. Because I kind of forgot the question there at the end.
No, I really liked that. That was amazing.
Okay, thanks, Addie.
Okay, next.
That's how we run our business too. I think that's part of why I embrace everybody's system so well. It's because, or so much, is because I'm like, well, how do you actually work? Let's make the business work around that, not make you work around the business.
It's truly treating it like an experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Next up is Joe.
Joe.
Oh,
Oh.
Joe's question is, how do I take care of myself in a relationship dynamic where repair attempts really trigger my partner, causing shutdowns?
I was trying to figure out if Joe was the man in the shot or Joe was the boy.
Yeah, it's me. I was holding her spot because she was working. I was going to ask question 4, but she finished. So I was like, it's all you.
Okay, amazing. Okay. Do you want me to call you Joe?
You can call me Ella.
Okay, great. Hi, Ella.
Hi.
I did not pay attention to the question. Can you ask that again?
I can actually phrase what's going on. So I have ADHD and most likely mild autism. And whenever he brings up his feelings and it's something I disagree with, even though I know that I'm supposed to listen to his feelings and validate them and keep my emotions out of it, there is just an override that happens that I immediately just get angry. I just get defensive. And then I then start to make it about me. And then I just like shut down and I'm like, this isn't working. I want to leave. We have to end the relationship. And he'll even be like, babe, remember the steps. We need to do this. And I'm just like, nope, I'm just on a freaking roller coaster. And we just keep repeating the same tragic emotional loops over and over. And I don't know how to stop it.
Okay. Interesting. So often when this is happening, it feels you've learned at some point that when we get into a conflict, the only way to resolve it is one of us has to change. Like either I have to change who I am or you have to change who you are. One of us is right and the other one is wrong. And that sucks because I don't want you to change. I don't want me to change. So there's no real option besides like ending it.
Yeah,
Does that feel true to you?
pretty much. Yeah. It's just like, well, I don't want to jeopardize what I'm doing. You're not happy with what I'm doing. So therefore, this just doesn't work. And leaving's the only option. But also, it's just like the emotions are so heightened that then I can't even start thinking logically. I find often I just can't speak and I just go in like complete shutdown. And so then, we kind of go in this talk for hours and hours and hours of him trying to explain his side. Sometimes then if I do start speaking, I just blow up and start yelling and then he starts yelling and it's just like so volatile until finally I get to a point where I'm just like, whatever, I'll just accept it. But then there's resentment and then the resentment builds and
Yes.
yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah, because that conflict is trying to figure out who's allowed to have the feeling, like whose feeling is right.
Yeah.
But both of your feelings are right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And your brain doesn't know that. So, or your body doesn't know that. Maybe your brain does, but your
Yeah.
body doesn't know that. So, even if he does a great job reflecting you, and he's like, yeah, okay, I totally get where you're coming from. And this is why you did this. And this is why you did this. And then goes, and it still hurt me. You go, well,
Yeah.
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 whatever. I guess it doesn't count anymore. Like everything that he did to validate you is totally out the window because it must have been lies to your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even in my head, I'll be like, why are you doing this? You need to stop. And it's just like an automatic response. And it just, yeah, I don't know how to override that automatic emotional response that just.
You don't. I think over trying to override it keeps you caught in the cycle. So instead, knowing it's happening and then starting to regulate through it is what's going to help you. So you have the automatic blah and you go, oh, I'm starting to get big. Hold on. I'm really scared that whatever the real fear is.
Mhm.
My favorite way to hold both truths at one time is an even though statement that looks like an opposite. So even though I didn't mean to hurt you, it makes sense that you feel hurt. Even though I had really good intentions, it makes sense that you couldn't see those. Even though you didn't mean to hurt me, it makes sense that I feel hurt. That has been for me personally my favorite way to do that when it's the emotional override, the emotional like brah. Because giant responses aren't because the emotion is big, it's because the emotion has a lot of resistance. Because giant responses that big emotions that are like boo and then they go away, like when you're crying really hard and then it like kind of fades, is when you just believe you have the feeling is perfect, great. I'm supposed to feel this. Whoo, there's no resistance. But when you are like, I have this feeling. I shouldn't have this feeling. Why do I have this feeling? I shouldn't act this way. No, I should act this way. No, I do deserve this. That is what gets it really intense. Like even when, like when well, I'm talking about this from a severe level, like in PTSD treatment, MDMA PTSD treatment, one of the sessions usually ends up with the person who has PTSD sitting with their trauma after spending so long avoiding it and fighting it and trying to get around it and doing all the coping mechanisms around it. And it's actually part of what makes it so big is being so scared of turning to it and not being able to hold two things at once. Like I'm safe and capable, and this trauma happened to me. I'm scared that it will happen again, and I'm safe anyway. Like those, being able to hold those two things. So I'm not telling you to, like, if you have PTSD, go face your trauma. I'm just explaining that even the biggest things that we think are so scary and wrong, often the thing that helps is turning to them and going like they're a kid and going, of course you're having a big reaction. It makes so much sense that you're having a big reaction. You're scared that he doesn't believe you. And even though he does believe you, it makes sense that you're scared he doesn't. The holding of the two truths is like the greatest power move and so healing. So I don't know what your sentence is, but I'm still trying to figure out how to make it into a prompt, because when I say even though blank, it makes sense that blank, that's not enough direction. But it's like write two opposite statements that are true. These two opposite statements are true right now, even though blank, it makes sense that I feel blank.
Yeah. No,
I
I think that can help. It's just even when I acknowledge the emotions, it's still, I guess I am still learning how to actually regulate myself and calm down. Because like I'll step away and like I'll feel like I'm calm, but then as soon as I get back and he starts talking, then it just flares up again. And so I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, how do I actually come to a place of regulated where I can actually use those strategies?
Regulated is not calm. That regulated doesn't mean calm. Regulated means, again, holding the
Yeah.
really truths. It's saying I can, that this feeling is allowed and makes sense, and also this feeling, and also that feeling. It's actually becoming the safe parent of all your feelings.
Hmm.
And a safe parent says your sad isn't too big for me. Your mad isn't too big for me.
Yeah.
You need to be mad for a minute. I'll still be here. Go for it.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I mean, I don't, it's been a while since this has happened, but I'll have that big blow up and I'll literally, the rower is right there. That's why I'm pointing over here. I will angry row, and the whole time I'm like, and I'm a piece of shit, and you're a piece of shit, and everyone on the planet is a piece of shit, and we're all evil, and all humans suck, and I suck, and why are you even with me? Because I'm a terrible person, and I've always been a terrible person. I mean, like all of the worst thoughts. And I just like it's a kid having a tantrum. I just like let
Yeah.
that happen. And then eventually it stops. And then like parent of that kid. You angry, Ro? Yeah.
I have those. Yeah, I'm like, everyone's a piece of shit. The world's a piece of shit. It could burn to the ground. I get it all out. And I'm like, okay, we can move on now.
Yeah. It's a kid. We're all just kids. So you're just throwing a tantrum. And then like the parent, you're like, all right, bud, you were pretty mad there. And then I start laughing. I'm like, I was pretty mad there. Wow, that was wild. I love people. I can't believe I hated them for that like 5 minutes there. Wow, okay. And then I go back to my husband. That is regulation. It's not like, okay, how do I get this anger under control? It's actually, oh, I'm going to lash out at everybody right now. How can I let it flow through me and get it
Hmm.
out? And yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that is the one thing I haven't tried yet. I've always just tried being like, I shouldn't feel these feelings. This is stupid. And just trying to like suppress it. And I think, yeah, maybe I just need to like hopefully be able to turn to my partner and just be like, I need 5 minutes to go rage. And like, go rage and then come back and be like, okay,
Yeah. And you're not defending
even
and
now.
truly view it like a tantrum. Like you're
Mhm.
not defending your right to feel angry. You're not telling yourself you shouldn't feel angry. You're just like, of course I'm angry. Of
Yeah.
course I'm angry. And you don't need to explain it. You don't need, like, if truly, like, go rage.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. And then be so proud of yourself for raging. Feel the
Yeah.
feels.
And
It's
I
the
think
best.
that's very important too. Is like you're not defending your right to rage. It's like
That's
I'm
rumination.
not right in these feelings. I'm not wrong in these feelings. They're just feelings and they need to come out.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
They need to flow through. Yeah, because sometimes why I keep harping on that is that sometimes I explain this and people just make it a louder version of rumination. Because rumination is deciding whether or not you deserve. Like, do I deserve to feel this or do I not deserve to feel this? So then your rage is actually, I hate you and you're awful and he's a terrible person and I do deserve to be mad because he's actually terrible and he should and I should, and you know what I'm going to tell him? I'm going to tell him this and I'm going to tell him that and this is why I'm mad. And you know what? It's like those when you're talking to that friend that when you leave you hate the person even more. Like you come to them with the problem that you're having and they're like, "Yeah, I also hate them." And then they dive in so hard that you walk away being like, "I hate them." That's rumination. That is
Yeah.
not trying to feel the feeling, that's actually trying to justify it and you're stoking it not because you're feeling it because you are defending the right to feel it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that I don't think that you need to hear that because I can see your brain getting it, but I know other people are listening to this and I can see somebody going and rage rowing and while they're doing that they're like, and this is what I'm going to say and this is what I'm going to do and this is what she deserves and this is what he deserves and this is what no just
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've definitely done that before too. Is I'm like, well, I haven't set my boundaries before and I've let other people walk over me. And so I'm not going to let this happen. And this is why I need to do this. And I'm like, so then I go forward and I'm like, hey, well, I'm going to do this calmly, but I'm going to be assertive and I'm going to like set my boundaries. And then
Yeah.
still haven't felt the feelings and I'm not validating his feelings. And then it just blows up again. And then we rinse and repeat. Yeah.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
just like not defend the feelings and feel all of them and just let them out.
Yes. If you can hug the feelings, it's the best metaphor. Like angry rowing feels like I'm hugging my anger. You know what I mean? It's like I'm
Yeah.
hugging it. I'm letting it do exactly what it needs to do. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to
Love that,
add?
Ella.
That's pretty good.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited. If you come back next week, I want to hear. Or is next week when I'm
Okay.
gone? Am I gone next week or is it the week
No, it's
after?
the week after.
Okay, good. If you come back next week, I want to hear it. Please come back.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fun. Hug your feelings. Wee.
All right. Our next question is from Linda. I'm not sure if you saw my messages, so I hope it's okay to pull you up. Is it okay?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking her.
Yes.
Adam said the thing, but did you ask, how does she think you get there? Sorry.
Okay. You're fine. No, that was good. Linda's question, synthesized, is how do I deal with the pain of being in a relationship with someone who is neurodivergent, who forgets things, doesn't follow through, doesn't complete things, and is often defensive about it?
Yeah. How much have you been here for?
I've been here for a pretty long time.
Okay. So you've heard a
Um,
lot of the things I said.
I
Or-
did hear. I think that it was super helpful because in Indy, what Indy was saying, and now this last one as well. And if I had to I feel like if I have to summarize what you said, and remember me from last week, my
I
over
do remember you.
responsibility.
Yes, I do remember you.
So in my over responsibility disorder, what I took away from that was those are my feelings and I just have to deal with them and it's not their problem. And, you know, and they get to be the way they are and I get to be the way I feel about my feelings. And then what? You know, like, yes, I can tend to that part of me that feels frustrated or disappointed or whatever I'm feeling. But here's the end result. It's like, I just want to ask them, are you neurodivergent in like the first meet and then like exit?
Well, that's fully your right. Why not?
Except for like almost everyone's neurodivergent now because devices have screwed everyone's brain. And so there's like almost no one without it, right? At this point. Like it's just so common. Like I don't, you know, I mean, you know, on the Bumble profiles, you get to choose your causes. Now I know if they pick neurodiversity, okay, probably a good sign, not for me, right? Like, I mean, so many things, but like, it's so hard for me. It's so hard. And it's been multiple people now that I've met. And sometimes, I mean, one guy, I was connecting with him for months and months. And then, you know, he was super caring and he sent me a sweet message on Mother's Day. And he knew it was my first Mother's Day without my mom. And that was really thoughtful. And I was so touched by that. And then we were texting and then he just called. And I love that because I hate like long texting conversations, just like you. More so just because to me it doesn't feel as connected as hearing the person's voice, and I love that feeling of connection. And so he called and we chatted, and then he said, hey, I promised the kids I would take them to play a couple holes of golf before dark. Can I call you back after I get back? And what time is sundown, you know, today? And I said, well, my weather app says it's X time. And he's like, okay, great, I'll talk to you later. And I'm like, thank you, great. And like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I'm thinking, all right, like it's well past sundown and kids are probably in bed now. It's a school day tomorrow. And here I am still waiting and I'm going to go to bed now. And so taking care of me, I sent him a text and said, hey, hope you had a good time golfing and it's getting late and I'm going to turn in. Maybe we can catch up, you know, another time or something like that. And then he came back with, oh, damn, I hate my brain sometimes.
Okay.
I hate my brain sometimes, he wrote. And I said, wait, what? I'm like, do you have ADD? And he goes, have we not spoke of this? And I'm like, no, where was the warning label? I missed that memo.
Yeah.
No. Ugh. That explains so many things. And like every time that I became insecurely attached, which I am not that normally, it was probably because he just wasn't tracking it and he didn't do what he said he would do because he has ADD and he's unmedicated and thinks he's fully functional. And I'm like, cool, but it's super hard to be relating with someone who behaves this way because it's owie. It hurts.
Because it makes you feel
less. I was like, apparently I'm not important to him. How could he say to me 2 hours ago that he's going to call me back and then not do it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't forget things like that. I track that and I don't say I'll do something unless I'll do it. And if I have to set a timer, write a sticky note, do 10 strategies, I'll do it, or I won't promise I'll do it. Because that's how important my word is to me.
Yeah. So you're holding him to the expectation you hold yourself to, and he didn't meet it.
Sure. Or just like a reasonable expectation of saying you'll do something and sticking to it. Or updating and saying, hey, can't do that now. Something else, you know, interrupted my ability to do as I said I would. Integrity, is it not integrity? Don't we have any standard of integrity anymore? Or do we just excuse it because of spicy brains? Like literally, I get pretty wound up about this.
I hear it. I didn't say it was right of him to do that or that your expectation was too high. I was saying that that's an expectation you hold for yourself. And so you also hold it for the people that you're with, and he didn't meet that. Like I hold an expectation to myself that I don't hit my husband. I also hold him to the expectation that he doesn't hit me. That's I'm not using expectation as a negative word. I'm listening to I think I'm listening to you tell me what your standards are, and listening to you knowing that you can't change anyone, that if they're going to be if they're like that, they're going to be like that. There's no way to convince them to change. And mostly it's just frustrating that you haven't found somebody who does what you do as far as caring a lot about and sticking to that care and following through with it. If I say this, I will do this. Like for instance, it sounds like what would have worked better for you is if he had known himself well enough to say, I hope I'll talk to you later, but I also know I might forget because of what's going on for me. So if I don't, I'll see you in the morning. It's like that improvement of communication would have been great too.
Mm.
Versus
Bingo.
a promise that then he breaks. Yeah. And from the neurodivergent side of that, that is the thing that most of us need to get better at, and why my husband calls it truth seeking, where I am just so aggressive about of managing expectations, and I work really hard. Like when I was explaining how I maintain friendships, I start every friendship with I won't be able to meet an expectation of a consistent text conversation with you. I won't be able to respond very quickly. I'm not going to promise that because I'm not going to do it. I think some people could hear that and think that you're saying you shouldn't, that people are just broken and awful if they are neurodivergent. And maybe that's how it feels in the moment. But also, you wouldn't have felt that way if he had just managed the expectation and gone, I don't know if I'm going to call you or not. I really, really like to. I can promise this. I can promise this, and communicated clearer. But because there's so much shame around wanting to make promises and wanting to follow through and wanting to be a person like you. Like so much of my life, I wanted to be like you. And so I would try to be, and I would fail, and I would do the alarm and the sticky notes. I mean, I would literally have sticky notes around the house because I have this meeting at this time and I can't forget. And I had the alarm set and all of that. And somehow my phone was inside and I was having a conversation with my neighbor and I'm outside and then I come in and I'm like, oh no, I missed it again. Right. So now I'm like, cool. How do I make that not happen? How do I embrace who I am and communicate who I am? So all my meetings happen from this time to this time. So I'm at my computer the whole time. I don't let myself walk away because if I walk away from my computer, I know what's going to happen. I know I'm going to start talking to somebody and I'm going to lose track of time. And then, so if he was communicating with you clearly and having enough knowledge of how he works, then you wouldn't be hanging on waiting for a call that never came. So the communication is so key. But again, that's a him thing, not a you thing. Like the only thing you can do is say, I know I can't change you. I know this is how you are. It'd be great if you talk to me like that's how you are. Could you tell me? Like manage my expectations a little better, because what I thought you were promising something and then you didn't do it. That's the most you can do, which I think and the most he can do is communicate. I don't know if that's helpful, but
Yeah, I think the discernment piece for me was how to figure out if this was if ever, and this was only one example. The Mother's Day example was one example, right? Of the many times when I felt like I was waiting for him to give me an answer about something like, hey, I'm going to be passing through your town. It was a long distance thing, so it was complicated in that way too. But
Yeah.
I'm going to be passing through. Can we meet up? Like, which day is better for you, or both, or whatever. And he's like, I'll have to get back to you, which left me waiting. And of course, that created some anxiety. Like, and I can do the business thing. Like, when do you think you might know by? Um,
Or also you can be like, this isn't a good fit, and that's okay too.
well, and that's it, right? So the discernment piece that I'm saying is like, it's hard for me to know, is, are you just not into me and you're like putting me off, and or is it your neurodivergent brain that
Yeah.
that you are like, look how thoughtful he was. So the messaging is super confusing, because I thought that was incredibly thoughtful and kind to think of me on Mother's Day and to reach out to me and with support and care like that.
Yeah.
But then, right? So then how do
Yeah.
I translate that to, well, he's just playing you and he doesn't really care, and right?
I think it doesn't matter because you can't figure that out. I actually think back to the very beginning of this, I think knowing your standards and staying with them makes a bigger difference. Of
Mhm.
no, when somebody tells me they're going to text me, I expect that.
Mhm.
And when they don't, that's good information for me. And when somebody asks me what day I'm available and then they don't get back to me,
Mhm.
that's good information for me.
Mhm.
And I need a relationship where that person will do that. And can't and won't are different. But when you're in the beginning phases, it's hard to know the difference. And also, you're in the beginning phases. So you get to choose to not be with somebody who can't.
Well, right. And also there's, the words you're using are like, when you're already in a relationship with this person and you have a commitment around that. And I'm looking at the date, like you acknowledged, that the beginning or dating phase, with regard to, I'm just watching and I am collecting information, and it's all data collection in dating. That's what I think dating is, which is helpful. And also, yeah, I didn't know. And so then after he told me that, then I sort of retraced all the times that I felt hurt that he didn't do the things that he said that he would do, or that he forgot, or that I had to follow up and say, have you thought about that? Did you want to come to that concert with me that I have an extra ticket for? Does that work for you? Where are you
Wow.
out with it? Blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Without feeling like I'm a nagging mother,
Yeah.
in terms of, so gross, right? I
Yeah.
mean, because of course, what I desire, like you wrote in your manifesto the last time you shared,
Yes.
was somebody who's so into me, they go, oh my God, I would love to come to that concert with you, and you have an
Yep.
extra ticket. I would be there, like, let me know
Yeah.
what time and where, and blah, blah, blah. And also, that's not that easy to find. So,
No, it's not that easy to find. I was very, I mean, even, I guess for me, it was that or nothing. And I was down for that. So if something wasn't that, I was like, oh, well, this is what I want to build. And I have the basic standards in my little manifesto. And the number one is, you're so into me that you keep showing me that through your words and actions. That was that's not something either you are that or you are not that. And if you are not that, now I get to grieve what I hoped you were, not who you are. I'm not grieving our relationship. I'm grieving what I wish it was. And I'm going to find somebody who fills that space, or I won't, but for me, I was willing to, it was that or nothing for me.
well, and it, like, to be clear, I have a background in education, and I worked with special needs students, and also I haven't done that for 10 years. But if he had just told me up front, then I probably would have had a different context for
Yeah.
what I was experiencing. And I think that probably I would have been different in my like, I'm imagining, I don't know, we can't say how we would have felt or what we would have done, or
Right.
right, but I'm imagining in my best self that I would have been like, so hey, are you just not getting back to me because of your spicy brain, or are you like not sure that you want to do this thing with me?
Yeah.
And like, it would have been so light by comparison
Yeah.
to the heaviness that I felt, that was super tied up in anxiety around why am I getting such a mixed message? This is so confusing.
Yeah.
Is he not that into me? But then he does such kind and thoughtful things and says such complimentary, like all of that. It just made it really
Yeah.
trippy.
It is trippy. Also, dating is weird in that sometimes people do really kind there's a level of emotional immaturity that I had at one point in my life, and I did this. I was recently talking to my friend who got broken up with somebody who was like the way I used to be, and this kind of blew her mind because she wasn't like this, and I was like, oh, I need to tell more people that this is a thing that some people do. Sh- Good in an effort to be a good, kind person, and I was dating people, and I would be such a giver, like this is your favorite chocolate that you said that you like this movie. So I printed out a quote, like I ordered a artwork of this quote and it was all this thoughtful stuff. And I was giving them such mixed signals. And it wasn't because I, I didn't believe myself. Like I couldn't figure out if I wanted to be with them or not. So the mixed signals were real. I was back and forth. And so but I would never say the I'm not sure about this part because that would be too hurtful. So when I wasn't sure about it, I'd say nothing. And then when I was sure about it, I'd say a bunch of stuff. And I was also not wanting to lead them on. So I was like being really like connected and present and loving and wonderful. And they would say things like, no one's ever gotten me this way. No one's ever given me this much stuff. No one's ever been this thoughtful. And I'd be like, great, confirmation that I'm doing a great job and I'm a good person. I love that. I'd give them notes. I'd give them love letters. Like it would look, and I thought at the time, again, it was a learning phase, or is, yeah. Um, I thought I was being a really good, kind person and I was trying to communicate clearly, but I didn't have a lot of connection with myself. So then, but when I finally realized, oh, I don't think I want this to continue. I better end it quickly because I don't want to lead them on. It was this blindsided moment where they were like, what? Where did that come from? You've been the most compassionate, present, loving, adoring person I've ever dated. And now we are not talking. I'm so confused. But you said you liked me so much. And you said like they were so blindsided. And I was like, well, how did you not notice? I mean, I told you as soon as I knew, but I didn't know before. And I didn't know. And I didn't know I was people pleasing. Like I wasn't giving them all of this stuff out of thoughtfulness and kindness. I was doing it to be the best partner they'd ever had. Very different motivations. And I was too emotionally immature to know the difference. So I was like, I'm a good person. I'm best partner you've ever had. But I didn't know it was manipulative. I didn't know I really was trying to be a good person. And so that intention came through too. They would feel that from me. They would be like, well, you don't come across as evil. And it's just the level of emotional immaturity of I wanted to be the best partner you've ever had. And I figured out how to do that. And then I realized I didn't actually want to be your partner. And then I told you. And the process there was hot and cold because I kept having moments where I didn't want to, but I wouldn't be a mean person who told you that. So I would just go dark for a couple days and then come back. So I think a lot of people actually date that way and no one talks about it.
Oh my God. I totally think that's exactly what he was doing.
Okay, cool. I think there are more people who do that than is talked about. And I don't think anyone who did what I did is talking about it online. And when I told my friend this after she got blindsided, she was like, what? I would never. That's so different than the way that I date. And people like you're kind of similar to her, like you and her, who are pretty discerning and they have standards and they're really clear communicators. They're the people that people like me in that emotionally mature state go after because you're hard to impress. So if I can impress you, I must be amazing. And I don't know that I'm doing that. Again, I at the time did not realize that's what I was doing. But that kind of person would draw me in. I would be so drawn to that because you're hard to impress. You seem like you have standards, and what if I could meet those standards? That would be amazing. You must be. And so it sucks because then you're like, what? Then from your perspective, you're like, I'm just a girl with a heart and you're stomping all over it. You're building me up, you're tearing me down. What is wrong with you? And I'm so embarrassed that I did that so much, but hopefully that helps because there are apparently a lot more of me out there than people know. And
he even described me in some of the ways that you're saying. And so, maybe I'm making up a story now, but the story I'm telling myself is something like maybe he thought I'd be fine because I'm so confident, capable, this, that, like all the stories. Like he told me, I'm so attractive and I'm so this and that and sensual and whatever, all the compliments that he gave, he probably thought, and FYI, 3 months later to the day, he was engaged to someone else, not me.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, he sounds like a me. I'm sorry on behalf of him. And congratulations on dodging that bullet because if I had committed to somebody at that point, it was so much people pleasing and impressing, and the relationships I got into at that phase in my life were so confusingly toxic because no one was technically doing anything wrong, but they were so draining and so much, and it was hard for both of us, and the feeling that you had would have continued.
Really?
Whiplash.
Like when you say that, I'm so like, I really liked him and we had a lot of good things going and I was excited to get to know him more. And there was a lot of waiting and anticipation, which also kept me in a highly aroused state in many ways, many different ways, good ways and bad ways.
Yes.
And also, if I would not have wanted to sign up for a lifetime of that, oh my God, kill me now.
No, yeah, I'm really glad I learned what I was doing and healed from that. But I had to set my own standards to figure that out. But would have sucked. And it sounds like he's been doing that for a long time. So
to ask, like, in what would you suggest in terms of so future, fast forward, different person 2 weeks ago told me we split up. I talked to you about this last week and I said to him, you took some photos of me that some of them you took without my permission even. I would really like you to delete those. And he was like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah. He said I would never, ever. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. They're if you have them, they're there. And I ask you not to make a copy of them and to delete them. And he goes, well, I want to put them all in a file and send them to you first. It's going to take me a couple of days. And then I followed up with an email or a text message the next day, just confirming, to be clear, I do not give you consent to show these to anyone, share them, blah, 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 distribute them in any way. And my request is that you delete them. And, you don't have to delete pictures of a beach we looked at together. That's not the thing. It's like revealing pictures that you may have taken of me especially when I didn't even know you were taking them.
Yeah.
And he said that he was really busy and it might take him a week. So it's now been 2 as of yesterday. And I sent a message.
Cool.
Hey, and because he said he would send me a link to them and then I could delete them and he would too and blah, blah. And it would be in a shared folder. Okay. But I don't have them. It's been 2 weeks. So I do not want to be in the role of the nagging mother with people who have not doing the thing they said they would do.
Yes, except this is not somebody that you're dating or building a relationship with.
Right. But I still don't like being in that role. I mean, we're done now, obviously, but hey, just a reminder, I still don't have that file. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks since you promised you would get that to me.
Yeah.
Piece of information. So then do I say, when can I expect it? Or, I could say anything.
I don't know. Yeah, you can do. I don't know the answer to that because it's a question about how do we get him. It's either a legal question about how do you defend yourself if something happens, or a question about how do we get him to change a behavior? Like, how do we get him to do a thing? And that's who knows? You know what I mean? That's
Well,
his.
we're right back to the place of that you've just talked with the last two people about, which is like we can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. So
Yeah.
do I just go, okay, new rule, no one ever takes pictures of me with their own device and this will never happen again, and that's how I protect myself because that's what I can control-ish.
Yeah, maybe. It's got to be your solution is only in your control. The most you can do is ask and request and, that, and then for moving forward, protect. But yeah, frustratingly, yes. And I don't know him, so I wouldn't even I'm not even giving you a suggestion on how to say that if you do ask for it, because I don't know. Is he a kind of guy that if you said, "Hey, I'm feeling really scared about this and vulnerable, and it would mean a lot if you could do this sooner rather than later because it's keeping me up at night." Maybe that kind of thing works for him. Maybe he's the kind of guy that a really intense, like, I'm bringing a lawyer on your ass if you don't, I don't know. I don't have a suggestion. My point is, I shouldn't even be giving examples. My point is, I don't know. I don't know what to do to get him to do anything because you can't guarantee any form of action is going to create a change in behavior.
What I appreciate those suggestions. Actually, I know that you felt you tried to retract them after, but my personality is what's important to me. Like what's comfortable for me. And choice A, this is bothering me. I'm having a hard time sleeping, and I'm thinking about it. And would you be willing to take care of it sooner rather than later? Is like super in alignment with my personality. I'm bringing a lawyer after your ass. It's not my style. So also I can honor myself and choose the option that, like, some version of the option that feels in integrity. And also I have compassion for him. I do have compassion for him because I heard him say often with things that he was working on, how difficult completion was for him and how he would forget, like even to find his wallet or his keys when we were going to go somewhere and not being able to remember where he had put them. And he would consistently say, it was about his neurodivergence and his brain. And I would hear him be hard on himself in terms of, oh, great, another thing that I failed to complete.
Yeah.
And I have compassion for him in terms of, oh, great, another thing I failed to complete, because I'm imagining that must feel awful. And I know I'm a procrastinator. I don't complete everything I wish I completed too. I'm a better starter than I am a finisher and all that stuff.
Yes.
And also I want to hold, that's the paradox or the tension, holding the tension of having compassion for him and also wanting something changed or done.
Yeah, and those things can happen at the same time. Like you can have, even though you understand why he's not doing it, you still need him to do it. That it's those two things exist at the same time.
I love it. And you keep on referring to that sentence structure. So then maybe that becomes part of my thing that I say, even though, I have compassion for how hard it is for you to juggle all the things. It's still something that's really important to me. And I'd really appreciate if you could prioritize it sooner than later.
Yeah. I don't know if you need to say it in there. It's more for yourself to not feel bad about caring about this, but it makes sense that you care about it. It's not cool.
Well, and does it make sense that I care about his neurodivergence makes it hard for him? Like I do have deep compassion for that.
Yeah, and both things exist at the same time. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I hope he does that literally today. I hope that you go to send him an email and you're like, "Oh, it's already done. Fabulous." I hope that's what I want to happen. If I could wave a magic wand, I would just delete it from his phone right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I have fantasy dreams like other people fantasize about much different things, but I have these fantasies about sitting beside him and watching him delete each file, going through them together. Anyway, I'm weird. I know.
No, then you know. Yeah, I get
Right.
it. I get it.
Then I would know.
Yeah.
Then I would know that it's really done, because I also know it's not hard to make make a copy, right? So I don't feel like I feel like he's a person who, if he says that he'll do it, he'll do it.
Yeah.
So, or else in this regard, about something serious like this,
Yeah.
like that level of trust, I do have.
Yeah. Well, let's hope
There,
he does it. He does not seem like, if he's a good person, then he does not understand the vulnerability that you have around this right now.
right,
He
right,
doesn't get it.
right. That's true.
So, yeah. Okay. I hope that you hear back from him very soon.
Thank you.
It was good to see you again.
You too.
Bye, Linda. Not really bye, but kind of bye. You're still here, but I just realized it feels weird to say bye. Thanks. I'll just say no thanks. Thanks, Linda.
All right. I
15
think
minutes. We could do
this
one
is going to be
more.
our last question. And it is from Caroline. I'm actually going to let Caroline start off with the intention and then a story.
Oh my God, Caroline! And you're all glammed up today too? Come on. And look at the heart in the window. Gorge.
Yeah.
Red lip, heart in the window, big old necklace. Beautiful.
I'm not in the library today.
Yeah.
Okay, this is so messy. Okay.
Ooh, yay. I'm getting my lipstick on to match you.
Okay. So, where?
It's not the same color. I just have lipstick on. I can't pull. Yeah.
Okay. So, I wanted to tell you a story first, but I'm generally trying to understand my relationship problems in the past as a late diagnosed autistic spectrum lesbian.
Cool.
And how I'll just say that. Okay. So in 5th grade, I went to a very precocious private school, and we had our first boy-girl party. And we played spin the bottle. And I had to kiss my academic rival, who was a boy. And I came into school on Monday, and I went up to my best friend, Julie. And I don't know, as a 5th grader, I had the moxie. I said to her, I will never go to another boy-girl party again. And she said, that's because you're a les, and I'm not your best friend anymore. She told everybody, and I was completely ostracized. And I never got over it. Like, I literally didn't have friends. And part of it was the trauma. I think a lot of it was also the autism and trying to avoid the heterosexual dating scene. And then the other thing is my parents met when they were 14 and 16. And I have never, ever seen them argue, raise their voice at each other or me. So I have zero experience with any type of conflict. It's so conflict,
Oh, a cat got on Addie's computer.
Oh, okay. So now I'm gonna
Zero experience with conflict.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, I went into trauma therapy, doing EMDR and parts work. And it was there that the trauma therapist really sort of saw a lot of autistic things. And it's hard because trauma and autism, can look a lot alike. But I read Devin Price's book, Unmasking Autism. And it just gave me this compassion for the first time for how inauthentic I've been in romantic relationships. I would I would disappear. I would like want to like also like leave social gatherings to self-regulate. And then they would see this as embarrassing, like so embarrassing. And then they would like, you know, kind of shame me. And when I would go off to be alone, they would like think it's rejecting. And living this this inauthentic masked existence was like so exhausting and lonely. And like I would really feel like they don't like me, but I never gave them the chance, right? I never gave them the chance to know me, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm really ashamed about. I would have an emotional affair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with someone that I felt like I could be my authentic self with. And because I didn't have any friends growing up, all my validation came from teachers. So I would get all this academic validation. Yeah. I'm a sociology professor, but I'm also a sapiosexual. And the way that my sexuality developed, after I was ostracized, I was a dancer, and then I was anorexic, and I'm now attracted to people's mind and intellect, not like their superficial, the way that they look, okay? Mm-hmm. So, I would have these emotional affairs with these people who were like really dumb. I'm not even kidding. They were like really dumb. But I felt so safe around them. Yeah. Like I could totally be myself.
Yeah.
And here's the other part that I'm very, very ashamed of is that in each case, it would be at 4 or 5 years, I could keep up the act. And then there would just be this rupture, like this, like just thing. And I would just like end it. And I would end it without even a conversation, without even the respect of a conversation, because I didn't know what to say. Like, oh, for the last 5 years, I've been inauthentic. Like, I would just, and I took a 5-year moratorium away from dating because I just didn't want to hurt anybody like that. But then when I started watching your IGs and going to your questions and answers, and you were talking about trauma healing in relationships, and you made healing so fun, and it like really motivated me to like try to put myself out there again. So I met this woman online who's autistic, and I was wondering whether like 2 autistic people together could be like a good pattern. I know you've talked about like different attachment styles together, but do you have any like views on 2 autistic people together? Because like I feel like the scene method is so vulnerable. Like it's like everything that I was been not trying to do. I've been scared, I've been embarrassed, I like had like unrealistic expectations and never like shared my needs, like always tried to become like who they wanted to be, the books they read, the music they, you know, it was like this chameleon thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like if they wanted me to wear my hair big and curly, whatever, and become smaller and lose myself and stuff. And what's my question? I don't know my question. But like, how do I find somebody? I guess like my sapiosexual thing about being attracted to people's mind and intellect, it has not been emotional intelligence. So the first thing I know now is that is what I'm really thinking is sexy, really. It's not that they're brilliant. It's like, it really is the emotional intelligence, because that's the only way they're going to be up for the scene method and the mirror game and all this stuff I'm so excited about putting into practice.
Yeah.
But I thought like an autistic person might be somebody who could deal with like my eccentric ways. And I know we haven't really talked a lot about autism in this meeting, so I thought it would be a good ending.
It's such a good ending. Oh my God, what a story, Caroline. Thank you for sharing so much about who you are and what your fears have been and your embarrassments have been, and that fear of hurting people because of who you are and because of how you've hurt people in the past, and then just totally removing yourself is so real, and so how much you care is so obvious. I will answer your question, but I just have to say how much I adore you. I'm so grateful for everything that you've said and the amount of love that I feel for you, and
How
wow,
much
thank you.
mattered. Like how much you have mattered
It
in
means
this like 5-year moratorium.
it
Yeah.
means a lot that you dared to let yourself even consider getting into relationships again, that it's almost like you were punishing yourself or saving the world from you, and it's so exciting and gorgeous and like such an honor that I got to be part of you choosing to let the world see you and let somebody see your heart. That's so fucking huge. Ryan taught me this, and I can't remember whose line it is, but is it autism or neurodivergence in general, where I don't have a problem, I have a system to solve the problem? I don't have a problem, I have a system to solve the problem.
Neurodivergence in general, but it's very
Is
common with autism.
I have had so many messages from people on the autism spectrum thanking me for the scene method because it helps them have a structure to unmask. And so two autistic people who both are working on communication and both like systems and both want to unmask is kind of a dream. It's a kind of a dream because you don't have somebody going, why do you need a system? It's just talking. You've got somebody going, makes sense to me. I need a system for everything. So, so can two autistic people have a great relationship? Yes, definitely. I've seen it many times. Sometimes you have two opposite systems, but if you know that and you're both curious about how do we process, then it's electric and it's beautiful and it's fun, and you get to follow this curiosity of that Ryan, will you write that book that I forgot the name of it, the really good one?
Unmasking autism.
No, Ryan has one too. I wrote that one down
I'll
earlier,
put
but
it in the
Ryan,
chat.
you know what I'm talking about, the couple, the where you have two different top down, bottom up, that
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Okay.
What was the book?
I don't remember. He's gonna find the title and then he's gonna tell us. but it's good. There it is.
Oh, you can't see it. It's called Neurodiverse Relationships by Joanna
Oh.
Pike and Tony Atwood. It's kind of new, and it's like perspective. Here's our story from this person's perspective, and here's the same story from this other person's perspective, and one
Cool.
is neurodivergent and the other one isn't, and it's really interesting.
The meltdown of top down, and that's what I'm asking about. Different one.
You're asking about that book.
Yeah, Ryan has a lot of books.
I have a lot of books.
He doesn't have problems. He has books for the problems.
I have a system,
In
Morgan.
library.
I have a system.
I know. Cue the library. Yeah.
That book
The
is
answer
upstairs. You know what? I will post all of my relevant books on the Facebook group today.
Facebook
Yeah,
group.
I'm not part of that yet, but
Now you have a lot of incentive.
Did you submit a request and didn't get approved yet, or you?
No, I just.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't in a couple, so I.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. No. Yeah, join. And then we'll have all the books in there. If we can figure that is really cool. Just basically the answer to, can two autistic people have an incredible love life? Yes. Big yes. It's so juicy too, because if you're both aware that you're autistic, then you're both curious about how that means you're working through the world, which means now you get to communicate with curiosity.
Yeah.
It's really, really
And
cool.
compassion, because we know like so much of what we've been through, and
Yeah.
like so many times you've talked about like how humans like need to be in a group and work towards a consensus, or like that
Yeah.
we heal common connection. Like I feel like I live in this beautiful house. I spend so much time isolated, alone, so much time alone.
No,
It's
we
a
don't want
beautiful,
that.
it's like a beautiful cage, you know,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And um, I've drawn a lot of very materialistic, emotionally unavailable, conflict averse people that like wanted to live here with me.
Yes, I could see that. That makes sense. Yeah, we
But
don't want.
I think that was my question, and I also just really wanted to share with you like how big a deal it is for me to throw myself back into here, and it's only really because you gave me this nerdy excitement. Like I want the nerd game. Like want I want to find someone who has fun with it, you know, and
Yeah.
like grow and heal together. I have so much time to make up for when I was like all alone, you know,
Yeah.
and it really like I should maybe go to some of the things where like you practice with other people in breakout rooms so that I
Yes.
get better at it before I do it with an autistic person.
Or bring them. Our next repair
Yeah.
lab where you do like the whole structured thing and practice
Yeah, like
together is
I
in September.
hadn't done it because I wasn't in a relationship, but now that I think about it, that when you said like you try it in a low stake situation, so that might be good for me.
Yes. I love,
So
yeah.
I'll look into that.
Yeah, maybe you'll do it with
Oh,
Ryan.
thank you.
Thank you. Are
Thank
you
you.
kidding me? That's like one of the best moments of my whole life. Thank you.
Appreciation.
Thank you. Gosh. Wow. Oh man. I gotta save that little recording for the days that I'm like, I'm not helping anybody. What am I doing out here? That was beautiful. Thank you. Okay.
Morgan,
We
do you
have,
mind if I say one thing?
oh, sure. Or no, I don't
Since
mind.
you just happened to wish that you could like join somewhere where there were breakout rooms that you could practice this, um, in the events section of the Facebook community page, I run something called our open gym, which is exactly that, and there is one today at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, which is 10 p.m. Eastern. They're not always that late. I've got a couple of them running. We're looking into best times and days right now. So if you can make it, come and join. I would love your feedback.
Thanks, Ryan. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I think, Addie, we just love this. We love this. We love doing this. Thank you for being here today.
We do.
I love you so much. I'm going to show you this whole dress and then I'm going to go. Oh my God, I knocked down oh no, the cord for my phone. Oops. I just knocked everything off. Okay. Okay. Perfect ending. Did you close it?